You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
We're trotting out and peddling Vivos, racist, sexist, bigoted stereotypes.
And their colleagues have distorted the facts.
Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the best I say and put them on display.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Hunter Biden is not above the law. We want to send him to the DOJ, and we want to trust the DOJ to do their job.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, that I can go campaign on and say we did.
The bill, as I said, codifies one definition of anti-Semitism, a definition that the author says shouldn't be codified.
RICO is not a crime. They want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me.
Leadership of the plans to get them back into chambers. That would have been call number 3 with Speaker Pelosi.
You didn't have one call, you didn't have 2 calls, you had 3 calls. So Speaker Pelosi's comments that she didn't speak to were inaccurate.
That is correct, sir.
Welcome to the Off-Label Podcast, your daily dose of sanity in an insane world. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get back to this one here because there are still some heavy hitters you guys have to hear about. Of course, like always, I reserve the right to overrule one vote, but you control who we listen to yet again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to finish up the sanctuary state governor's hearing. I do have a camera on screen. Instead of the debt clock, we will be showing a live feed of what's going on in Los Angeles at this point, because I'm looking around at the tactics and the force is building up, and I think me and Jennifer might be right. Things are going to pop off this weekend. But there's also something else I need to show you guys here in a second. You'll see it. Let's get started.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Some poor soul just waddled into that porta potty, and I may or may not have left a little surprise package inside. There it is, right over there. Dude's still in it. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. Shit. Oh, I thought it was just a firecracker, but... Shit, they're swarming the woods. Sirens everywhere. They're calling me a goddamn terrorist now. Fuck my life. Dude, they're shooting though like I killed the president. I just wanted content, not a federal manhunt. Shit.
I still love this shit. I swear to God, if they would make like full episodes, 10, 15 minutes long of just one of these little things, that would be hilarious as fuck. I would watch it. How y'all doing? What's up, Ken? Carolyn? Jennifer's in the house. Let's see. Who else we got? Nobody else. Not yet. We got Amanda on the other side. Jennifer over there. We're going to take this. We're going to give this a little bit of time here for everybody to pull in because we got some things we need to talk about here, though. First of all,
Live at 5, 6 people now face charges after this Brookhaven immigration protest took a turn overnight. Metro Atlanta activists say there will be more demonstrations. Atlanta News First reporter Yasmin Alston joins us now live at 5 from the Georgia State Capitol. And Yasmin, and Governor Brian Kemp says any violence against police will be met with accountability.
Yeah, that's right. And Governor Kemp tweeted that his office is in contact with state and local police, and they're ready to take whatever action might be necessary if there is any crime or violence at any upcoming protests. We saw last night in Brookhaven an anti-ICE protest. Police said it started peaceful until they tried to disperse the crowd when what police called aggressors began throwing rocks and fireworks at officers. Tear gas was used to break up that crowd. The chaos happened after the organizers and police tried to end the event. Today I did speak with Atlanta's Party for Socialism and Liberation, one of the organizing groups. They say there will be more peaceful protests against immigration raids, though the Trump administration says enforcement will continue.
And this movement isn't going to stop until we get what we're demanding, which is justice, full rights for all immigrants, and an end to this racist deportation system.
Full stop. So they're saying this attack on everything isn't going to fucking stop until they become citizens and you stop deporting illegals. This is a goddamn invasion.
And on Saturday, more protests are expected across the nation against the Trump administration, including here in Atlanta at Liberty Plaza, and that will be happening Saturday morning.
Because they couldn't get you to do it for them. They brought in a whole bunch of people and told them, fight with me to make you a citizen. And there are stupid people that will follow along with all that shit and believe it wholeheartedly, but yeah. This, what the Democrat Party is doing, is sedition. And they use treason to cover it the fuck up. But there was another thing I wanted to hit off on as well. Check this out.
Also tomorrow, protesters are expected to rally in hundreds of cities against...
I'm sorry, this comes from KCAL News. This is Los Angeles right here. Listen to the way they're actually just telling people what's going on in their news.
President Trump's policies.
The planned demonstrations follow several days of nationwide protests against federal immigration raids, including here in Los Angeles. We're joined now by Hunter Dunn, who's part of the group that organized these protests here in Southern California. Thank you for being with us.
You know what? Hold up.
Thanks for having me.
Can we start with the name of the protest? I had a lot of people asking me, why is this called No Kings?
Yeah, so No Kings is the name of the No Kings National Day of Defiance, which is a day of national action ran by a coalition of nearly 200 groups nationwide, including my group, 5051.
Yeah.
It means that we have no kings in America because Donald Trump is currently parodying past authoritarian leaders like, for example, King George III.
Okay, we've seen protests, of course, in the past few days. It's what we've been following here in Los Angeles and across the country over the ICE raids and demonstrations. Is this protest, though, bigger than the ICE raids?
Well, because of what's happening in our community here in Los Angeles and in communities across the country, which is the president sending troops and sending ICE into our cities,
y'all tell me what's wrong with this.
taking hostages in many cases without warrants.
Y'all tell me what's wrong with him.
Arresting political leaders like David Huerta and Senator Padilla. Yes, the ICE raids are very important to this protest. One of our main demands is getting ICE out of LA and getting ICE and the National Guard out of cities across the country.
You know, I've seen so many communities here in Los Angeles are going to be doing their own parades. The biggest one is looking to be downtown Los Angeles, where we have seen these other demonstrations. And while most of the demonstrations downtown have been relatively peaceful, we have had these bad actors who have gone in, they've done looting, damaged property. How are you working to ensure people are safe this weekend?
Yes. So we're a entirely nonviolent movement. We condemn violence in all forms, especially the violence that the federal government's enacting on journalists and in our case on our medics. Almost everyone on my team has been harmed one way or another, whether it's by tear gas in my case or rubber bullets, while distributing food, water, or medical support to people on the ground. Again, we're an entirely nonviolent movement, so everything that we're doing here in downtown Los Angeles is
You
from
expect
that
me to believe
perspective.
that?
We're working with groups like the NAACP, CHRLA, SEIU to make sure that everything remains as peaceful as possible. But of course, a lot of that is down to how local law enforcement reacts to us, which is something we can't control.
Have you talked to law enforcement?
Not directly, no. However, we have spoken to elected officials, and we are doing everything we can to protect people, whether it's from outside agitators, like, for example, the Proud Boys, or law enforcement, which, again, have literally shot directly at journalists and our own medical team with rubber bullets.
Well, hopefully on both sides, things stay peaceful. Thank you so much for joining us to tell us more about the message. And I know there's 2,000 protests planned across the country and some in other parts of the world. So thank you for being with us this morning.
All right, I'm just going to point out the thumb in the fucking room real quick. Where is it?
Which is the president
sending
troops and sending ICE into.
There was another one where they brought him full screen, right? Yep.
How local law enforcement.
Why? Why is this dude somehow not looking on either side? He's looking on either side of the camera like Letitia James, and his eye droops 2 inches fucking lower on the other side, like that Representative Simon woman. What the fuck is happening right now? But where was that one little clip I wanted to bring up as well? I think it was actually around here. Hold on.
Everything remains as peaceful as possible. But of course, a lot of.
Yep, that was it.
Rubber bullets while distributing food, water, or medical support to people on the ground. Again, we're an entirely nonviolent movement, so everything that we're doing here in downtown Los Angeles is from that perspective. We're working with groups like the NAACP, CHRLA, SEIU to make sure that everything remains as peaceful as possible.
Everything remains as peaceful as possible to cover our asses legally.
But of course, a lot of that is down to how local law enforcement reacts to us.
So if we perceive a threat from the local law enforcement for enforcing the law, I can't. Yeah. That's a threat, and we will escalate.
Which is something we can't control.
Have you talked to law enforcement?
And we can't control that, but we know they're going to uphold the law, so we're going to perceive it as a threat. Again, 2 inches fucking lower. Why? It's just going to pop off tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But I just wanted to bring those two things to your attention. Tomorrow night's going to be fun. We're going to be sitting down with the Lux night while we do the riot watching it. And I'm going to plan to have as much camera footage going on from different cities as I can. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see a live stream from something on the ground or anything in that, you got to be in the Discord. But you got to shoot it over so I can keep a watch about everything. I'm going to grab as much as I can as well. But I'm going to throw it in the chat here. It's in the description of the video. I might have to change that, honestly. Because I'm a dick. But yeah. Here's what we're going to do. Oh, by the way, what up, Don? How y'all doing? Carolyn's in the house with us. Jennifer O'Connell's here too. Okay, so you guys get to vote. No slow Davey. Oh shit. Yeah, that's right. I forgot to tell y'all. Davey is home right now from the hospital. He is recovering. And they kind of might have figured out what's going on. But again, I don't want to speak on anything until Davey can have a minute for me and him to speak on a private level. And I'm still not going to touch on it until he's willing to come back. why pay Discord? I'm not paying Discord. That was from, there's a nitro boost on it, but that was from Rick Donner. But anyway, we got to get back to this here. Okay. I'm going to give the first two line of questioning before I open up to the voting as far as that goes, but you guys will be able to vote in the chat. Who do we skip? Who do you want to hear? You get control of this one because we still have a good 2.5 hours left of it. Let's go.
Policy builds good politics. Pretty normal, right? Would you agree?
Oh, wait.
Governor President?
Where is
Policy builds.
Recognize Dr. Gosar from Arizona.
There we go.
Governors, good afternoon.
You have one?
Would you agree that good process builds good policy, builds good politics? Pretty normal, right? Would you agree, Governor Pritzker?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Governor?
I would agree, Congressman.
Governor Hochul?
I would agree with that.
Good. Now, would you support the disclosure of federal fundings to nonprofits, either directly or indirectly? Governor Pritzker?
Federal funding of nonprofits just generally,
they're arming up.
there is actually
You see that,
nonprofits
Jennifer?
do report their.
Well, they do kind of, because we don't get that. That's
They're
all
breaking that
blocked out,
concrete up.
okay?
They're arming
But
up tonight.
You can't make good decisions if you don't have that. Would you agree?
All of it is available, as I understand, publicly, yes.
Now I'm going to quote U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice Louis Brandeis. He said, in a government of laws, existence of the government will
What
be
up, Adam
imperiled if
Chesterman?
it fails to observe and uphold the law scrupulously. Our government is potent, the omnipresent teacher. For good or for ill, it teaches the whole people by its example. If the government becomes a lawbreaker, it invites contempt for the law. It invites every man to become a law unto himself. It invites anarchy. So do you agree with, Governor Pritzker, do you agree with Louis Brandeis on this quote? How about you, Dr. Walt?
I do. It's what the President Trump has done, though. He is the one who has broken the law, and the United States government.
Governor Hochul.
We follow all the laws, federal and state.
Okay, so why would I ask you about nonprofits financing and this quote from Louis Brandeis? What if I were to present you evidence that U.S. citizens and even foreign citizens on foreign soil were coaching illegal aliens how to bypass U.S. immigration law? Now let me remind you, as soon as an alien crosses the border illegally, they become criminals under the federal law.
Right.
Governors or sanctuary policies blatantly ignore the supremacy clause, as Mr. Palmer expressed, of the U.S. Constitution, and it circumvents federal immigration laws to harbor criminals. As of July 2024, under the Biden-Harris administration, there were over 660,000 illegal aliens with criminal histories in the United States. But I'm talking about everyone, not just criminals. Once you violate the law by entering our country illegally, let me be clear. You're aiding and abetting criminal illegal aliens, which is a felony under Title 8 U.S. Code 1324, punishable up to 20 years in prison or life in prison or even the death penalty. Seems kind of weird, but if this aiding and abetting results in someone's death, which this committee and all Americans know has happened. Wouldn't you want to even err on the aspect of caution? I would. I really would. Now, Governor Hochul, do you like nature, and do you consider yourself a conservationist? I do. I'm one of those.
I'm particularly fond of New York State's great state parks, so yes, of course I love nature.
Good. So why would you allow illegal aliens to destroy a National Park Service land at Floyd Bennett Field? Yes, I was there. I got to see it all. But, I mean, even putting people in that process.
I
I
would hardly call it a park. It was a place that people used
What
to
up,
train for
Harley's dad?
military
How you doing?
exercises.
But you know what? Somebody found it as a park, right? Did they not? They consider it a national park. It's a park. Okay.
Technically, it's under the Department of Interior.
Okay. Governor Walz, do you know the estimated size of 2 milligrams?
I think generally, yeah.
You can barely see it's the tip of a pencil, sharpened pencil at that. And that's a lethal dose of fentanyl, which your running mate, Harris' open border policies welcome to the United States. Similarly, your sanctuary policies are playing games with American lives. Do the millions of lives lost to fentanyl constitute an all-out assault on our broken borders? They do. Yes or no, do you support tribal communities, Governor Walz?
Do I support tribal communities?
Yeah.
Under PL 280 or?
Oh, do you support
Yeah, I certainly
tribal?
do.
No. Okay, I do. Okay. What about the transnational criminal cartels trafficking drugs and people across our tribal lands? This is epidemic. Epidemic. So I'm going to finish up by this. Governors, this is my promise to you. I will work tirelessly with President Trump to secure the border, build a wall, stop the flow of fatal fentanyl into our nation, and I will see that you are held accountable for the violations of our crimes against the people of the United States. Our immigration system is not broken. We just needed somebody like Donald Trump to uphold the rules of law. I pray for the safety of our immigration, ICE officers, and all the officers, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Ms. Crockett has a unanimous consent request.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to submit a unanimous consent request for, this is from the Alabama Reflector. It says, study says undocumented immigrants paid almost $100 billion in taxes.
Without objection, so ordered.
And my second one is from Reuters. White supremacy.
Wait. Undocumented immigrants paid $100 billion or something $1 billion in taxes, whatever. Hold up. You know what that is? Those are the people that actually legally came here and just said, you know what? Fuck the system. It is what it is. I'm an American here. I'm good. I'm not going to go to all my immigration shit. And because we didn't give a fuck for so goddamn long, they sat here forever. So yeah, they already had IETNs when they were actually coming over here legally. They kept them, but did not keep up with the immigration status and everything that they needed to do to get to that fucking point to actually become a citizen of this country. And that's how you got people who are actually paying into the system, yet are undocumented because it lapsed. You didn't give enough a fuck about our system to keep even just that going. Once you're one of us, fuck it. You're subject to do whatever the fuck stupid shit we do, except kill people. Until then, follow the laws so you know what the law is. Follow the rules so you know what the rules are. Yeah, is that privilege? Yeah, American privilege. Fuck you. That's what a country is.
Behind over 80% of extremism-related U.S. murders in 2022.
Without objection, so ordered. Now recognize Mr. Lynch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also have a couple of unanimous consent requests. The first is from Law and Crime magazine. Judge rebukes Department of Justice explanation for ignoring the court order.
Without objection, ordered.
Subhead is the government again evaded its obligations. The judge upbraids the Trump administration's woefully and insufficient explanation for flouting his court order. The second one is from NBC News.
You know what? I'm going to do it. Y'all remember that? God, what was that? Who was he talking with? What was that one? Who the fuck was he talking with? I'll know it when I see it. I know it when I'll see it. Yep.
The election. But going forward.
Let me put a little boost on this so y'all can hear it better. I wondered why this was a thing. Why people were hammering him so goddamn hard about, will you actually comply with court orders?
Is on the election, ruling on the election.
But going forward,
I had judges
would you
that were
defy
so
a court
corrupt.
order? Because that we all know that, and that was outrageous.
I never did defy a court order.
And you wouldn't in the future.
No, you can't do that. However, we have bad judges. We have very bad judges, and these are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge. The judge that we're talking about, you look at his other rulings. I mean, rulings unrelated. But having to do with me, he's a lunatic. Is on the
I wondered why they hammered his ass so hard about that. Didn't Biden force through all of his lower court judge nominations before Trump took office? All this legal lawfare, like I said, now you know why they forced them through. This was planned. This is sedition. Trump is actually right on this one. Which, scary as that may be for anybody out there, he's fucking right. The Democrat Party is actually committing sedition because it wants to take a constitutional republic and throw it into some kind of socialistic communism. It's fucking weird. Y'all are doing it by force now. You are trying to violently overthrow the government. That is sedition. And you use treason to cover it up. I've proven that time and time again. Okay. Gotta go back. Oh, wait. Gotta turn off the boost for you. All right.
Trump administration's threat to suspend core U.S. legal right sparks outcry and alarm.
Without objection to order. Chair now recognizes
What up,
Ms.
hippie
Presley
fucker?
from Massachusetts.
Thank you to our Democratic governors for being here today. This hearing is an utter
The Netflix version of Richard Mole from Night Court. Prove me wrong.
and complete waste of your time. It is a waste of taxpayer dollars. Republicans have called you here alleging that you are circumventing federal law. You are not. But you know who is the poster child, who is violating federal law daily? The current occupant of the Oval Office, Donald J. Trump. To make matters worse, these hardworking governors had to leave their states to be here in a moment when their work is incredibly difficult. Because Donald J. Trump and his accomplices and co-conspirators, who, by the way, Donald Trump doesn't give a damn about your constituents, and he doesn't give a damn about you. He doesn't even respect the seat you hold, and Congress is a co-equal branch of government.
She said her hair ran away.
But Donald Trump and his accomplices, many of whom are in this room, are hell-bent. What you want your legacy to be is that you're tearing food away from our babies and medical care from our elders. These Democratic governors have to stand in the gap and figure out how to stretch budgets and modify programs to keep their constituents fed and alive. Constituents like this precious little soul that I wish I didn't have to leave to come be here. Layla, who drew me this rainbow. A 5-year-old who lives with a rare liver disease, had a successful liver transplant at Boston Medical Center. Thank God. She is thriving today. But Layla will need immunosuppressant drugs for the rest of her life that are paid for by Medicaid. And without Medicaid, well, I shudder to think what might happen to Layla. But for sure, a family will at least
What would happen in the third world country that they're supposed to be?
go bankrupt, trying to do everything to keep their baby alive. That's what these governors, that's the situation that they've been put in because you're a big ass ugly bill. And if it comes to pass.
Ma'am. That's a low blow you should never go for. Big ass ugly bill. I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. You know what? I'm doing it up here. Richard Mull from Night Court is above your fucking chat. Netflix version.
And they're dealing with the fallout of this White House pulling federal grants recklessly. Grown men throwing temper tantrums.
Yeah,
so
we
again,
are.
let me be plain. The Trump administration is breaking the law, not these Democratic governors. Ms. Perryman, how many legal challenges is the Trump administration currently facing?
I believe there's over 300 right now.
And Ms. Perryman, can you explain how litigation like this has helped to shield and defend vulnerable communities?
Absolutely. Without our courts upholding the rule of law and upholding the rights of people, right now there could be federal funds frozen across the country that would endanger things like Head Start and Meals on Wheels and community safety programs, including community safety programs that help prosecutors and help law enforcement in states and communities across the country. The administration has terminated over $800 million in Office of Justice Program grants that we are having to challenge in court, and the list goes on and on and on.
Thank you, Ms. Perryman. Thank you for your good work. That's right, in case after case, the media might not want you to know, but we are winning.
Oh, she looked at it.
Trump tried to end birthright citizenship, blocked. He tried to shut down asylum, blocked. He tried to defund cities, blocked. And because we are winning in court, Republicans are trying to change the rules to rig the system. Tucked in the big ugly bill the Republicans voted for is a provision, Section 70302,
because we're winning in the courts. Oh, you talking about all those weird ass rulings that these judges have been giving down in the appeals court? Literally within hours said, no, I'm sorry, the commander in chief has actual control of the military. National Guard is military. You have control under the president, under the chain of command, actually.
A restriction on enforcement that would restrict the judiciary from enforcing court orders and holding government officials accountable. This is an intentional and deliberate attempt to undermine the courts so that the Trump administration can break the law with impunity. Republicans, Ms. Perryman, pretend to care about law and order, but this provision is the exact opposite. What message does this send to people who count on the courts to protect their rights?
It suggests that the people that voted for the bill don't want the American people protected and that they don't want them to access their courts and access the ability to protect their rights.
Don't want the American people protected, that part. Allegedly.
I'm sorry, don't want the American people protected. That part. We don't want to protect the American people because right now we are rioting in at least seven fucking cities that I know of. We're going to find out more, a lot more tomorrow. But right now they are rioting in at least 7 different cities because ICE is shipping them the fuck out, which is what everybody voted for in the first fucking place. They are literally attacking federal agents to stop deportations of these illegals that they let in.
All in the name of law and order and safety. This is about nothing
giving
but
aid and
power
comfort
and
to the
control
enemies
and
of the
abuse
United
power
States within its
and
borders or
terror,
elsewhere.
which makes everyone less safe. The shame and the sham of it all.
And you gave an oath of office.
Chair recognizes Mr. Grofman from Wisconsin.
Thank you. Glad to see we have 3 governors here. I hear a lot about Illinois being from Wisconsin. I just had some builders in my office yesterday talking about all the Illinois people.
It's like saying the CEO doesn't have the right to make a
Wisconsin
decision in the
to get out of
company.
Illinois.
Exactly,
In
Jennifer.
any event, I think
Jennifer O'Connell.
I'll
call you Jen.
Have a very generous country here right now. Every year, about 850,000 new citizens
Winning single judge cases. Yes. Because they were forced
8
through,
million
Jonah.
new
I'm
citizens
telling
are
you.
sworn in, naturalized in this country. I think we have about another 500,000 people coming in this country on work visas, and a little under that coming in on student visas. So we're very generous about allowing people in this country. I should have said 850,000 new people sworn in. In any event, it's not impossible to get here legally. Nevertheless, we have a lot of people every year overstaying visas or still sneaking across the border. And the question I'm going to ask you guys and gal, is, do you believe we should have immigration laws in this country? We'll start, I guess, we'll right down the line. Governor Walz.
Congressman, the question is, should we have immigration laws?
Yes, that's it.
Yes, we should.
Governor Pritzker.
They're very important. In fact, we should have more robust immigration in this country, and it should be done under a law.
Oh, fuck. You know what? I'm sorry. I got into chat mode watching y'all, listening to what's going on, and I forgot what I was doing. Do we skip Grothman? Let's keep, yeah, we'll give him the full minute.
Ms. Hochul?
Yes, of course, we should have immigration laws.
Okay.
In fact, we do.
The question is, when people come in this country and break those laws, do you believe they should be enforced? Let's say people come in this country, you know, Gulf of Mexico, Pacific Ocean, however they come here. Should they be spun around and sent back out of the country, or should we just allow them to stay here?
It depends if they're, Congressman, if they're coming on an asylum claim, protected status.
Exact question. Assuming they come on an asylum claim and that claim has been rejected, should they be allowed to stay here?
The judge denies their asylum claim? No, they should not. They should not be able to.
Governor Pritzker, if somebody's overstaying, we'll say a different way, overstaying their say work visas and student visas, should they be allowed to stay here or should they be removed?
Given due process, sir.
Should they be removed?
Due process is required, yes.
Let's go ahead and end this one. See, here comes the Sundal again. That has nothing to do with that. Jennifer, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. We got James Prop Cop coming in. James Prokop. Just Peace Girl. Don't Be Hating, Manuel Ferreira. And Sheila Hawkins. Welcome, everybody. We just going to have some fun tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's not going to be a members only this time, but tomorrow we are going live. We are riot watching, and we're going to have as much going on as we possibly can while we sit down and have some fun with the Lux Night and bullshit. It's going to be a great time. Let's go.
Okay, Governor Hochul.
Oh, wait, no. You don't want to skip him. Okay.
Cool.
Yes, agree. Following due process, the federal government has the authority to make those removals. It has nothing to do with.
I'll ask you: should people who are here illegally get welfare benefits, Mr. Governor Walz? Are they have food stamps, low-income housing?
Should they get assistance that would be here?
Yes.
We provide for all of our people in Minnesota. It's one of the
Okay, so your statement is that if somebody comes here, say on an asylum claim, whatever, they should be able to get low-income housing benefits, almost free rent, free food, free health care. That's what you believe?
Oh, wait.
I believe states' rights. In some states, they do.
Well, I know that's what you believe we should do. Okay, Mr. Governor Pritzker?
It's the federal government's job to determine what welfare benefits at the federal level, and I can say to you that we have
I remember this.
hundreds of thousands of people in the state of Illinois who are undocumented but have been living, abiding by the law, holding down a job, paying taxes.
Okay, so are they getting, are they, do you believe it's right then that if they come here, they should get free housing, free medical care, free food?
It depends on the circumstances. I'm just explaining to you, though, that we have millions of people across the United States who are here, and we're here long before you got.
No, I know all
or
that. I mean, the question is, you don't have a problem with them getting benefits, these benefits.
Again, law-abiding, tax-paying. We're talking about people who are adding to
Okay,
our
I'll take it to
society.
be, well, not if they're not working. But either way, you have no problem giving them those benefits?
We provide benefits to people all across.
Okay, Ms. Hochul, is that the same thing with you? Do you believe people come here who are not citizens, come here, make a asylum claim, they should all be getting food, health care, housing?
Depending on which law you're referring to, in certain circumstances, we do provide these services, but they're not universal.
Okay, well, to most people, your average person who's overstaying a student visa in New York, do you think they should be getting food stamps, housing, medical care?
We provide Medicaid for individuals who are senior citizens or moms with new
Well,
babies.
we know when people are eligible, the question is people who are not citizens who are overstaying a student or work visa. Are they
People
eligible?
are making their own way here in the state of New York. In fact, I have 400,000 open jobs. I wish you could.
You're not
find a
answering the
path-
question.
find a
I take
path
it to
get-
mean, I just
Give
want
us
to
more work authorizations.
Answer the
Let's
question.
put them to work. Let's put them to work.
But you refuse to answer the question. If somebody is otherwise eligible for low-income housing or food stamps or
I
medical
don't know. They're
care
just running
in
clips
New
and everything
York,
right
do you
now.
believe they should be entitled to those benefits
There's
as
not a
Americans?
blanket answer to that. It depends on which provision of the social services law. In some cases, it's allowed. In some cases, it's not.
Okay. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Ms. Simon from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I would hope that I am also able to go over my time.
I'm sorry, California.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I, as my colleague did, I hope I am allowed.
Okay. Simon. Hitting it up in the Rumble chat. Polls going. Do we skip? You got 1 minute.
To also go over my time by approximately 45 seconds.
Well, I've been very fair. You've had Mr. Frost went over a minute and a half.
Okay, I'm just asking. Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. I just want to.
I didn't say you could, but you can go ahead.
I just want to make sure that I have a fair opportunity to also speak as an individual of this body. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ranking Member Lynch. I am so honored to be here today and having this really important conversation. You know, we talked about victim advocacy in this place. Actually,
this
I
is
was
Dallas.
a victim advocate. Was a 8133 in San Francisco for many years and had to sit with families who buried their folks and sitting literally figuring out how to mend together obituaries. I've worked with young people who have been victims of gun violence and literally have had to scrub blood off the streets. There is nothing that anyone can say to a family. I get it.
That's Los Angeles.
That is grieving.
Okay.
We have a lot of work to do, not just here in this country, around the world, to deter violence. I come from a state, the fourth largest economy in the world, with the best public education, higher public education system in this country. In fact, at California, Berkeley, we lead some of the research that are keeping folks here and your relatives alive. Those labs and that research is being attacked by this administration, but
Omni? Again. That eye is 2 inches lower than the other.
I digress. I have a number of questions today, but this hearing has been so difficult. Not only was I a victim advocate for many years, working with folks who had witnessed and who had been victimized by rape, by murder, I also led the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights of the San Francisco Bay Area that was founded by JFK, and our asylum clinic honored the work of this country by supporting folks who came here escaping tyranny and violence to just be met by an immigration system day after day that spat in their face.
What up, Hookie? I'm sorry. I saw this freeze frame. Oh, my light went off. Hold on. I saw this freeze frame right here, and I was thinking Marlon Wayans from back like in Living Color type shit. But I'm telling you, you see it? It was the same fucking thing that earlier in the day I was pointing out about this son of a bitch. This one right here is a perfect example of it. Why is it the same side? Why is the eye that far off? I'm sorry, Simon, but goddamn. I'm getting some in living color shit type shit going on right now. All right.
I'm thankful.
What up, Maybe Sunshine? How you doing?
And our community lawyers who are doing their American duty by supporting people who are leaving tyranny. I have actually one question. I'm concerned that we're deflating the conversation around public safety. It's my understanding that the current administration, and this question goes to you, Ms. Perriman, has deducted or stopped payments of upwards of $1 billion in local public safety funding around the country. With my time remaining, can you talk to us a little?
Shit, you know what? I was fucking listening. Y'all want to skip? Goddamn, I'm a dick. I'm sorry. I was just listening to it. I have no idea why. It's almost done.
Little bit about this very hypocritical moment in time where we're uplifting public safety and yet we're taking resources away from communities, police departments, community safety leaders, and organizations that are taking guns out of kids' hands. Give us a little bit of the flavor. Talk about what money has been taken away from communities under this administration.
Since January.
Okay, yeah. We're skipping the rest of this shit. What up, No Jabski? How you doing? Oh my God, it was longer than I thought. Okay. We got Mr. Perry coming up. I'm going to do this one right. All right. I'm gonna actually track the time and stop squirreling my fucking self out. Who was it?
This is Mr. Perry from Pittsburgh.
Perry. I like doing this. I like getting y'all involved with this kind of thing because I hear all of it. But it's weird seeing just what you guys want to hear with it. But you already know the arguments from the other side because there's the same argument every fucking time. Some of them skew, but not many.
Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sad to say I'm disappointed today, but, governors, Ms. Perryman, welcome to the House of Representatives. Great to have you here and hear about your thoughts and views on things. Governor Pritzker, you said, I think numerous times now, that the president broke the law. You're an attorney, right? Northwestern? Is that where you went to law school?
Congressman, yes, sir.
So just
no,
can you
y'all
cite
control it.
Which laws he's
Come on,
which law in this regard
this
he's
is
broken?
fun.
Well, there have been congressionally approved
Don't forget to vote, Baby Sunshine.
that this president has cut off, and we've had to go to court. That's illegal. We've had to go to court to have it reinstated.
It's illegal.
It is
illegal.
illegal.
If you have to go to court, it's illegal, and it's still working its way through the courts, right?
Yes, but things have been
so it's
ruled
not,
on already.
It's not illegal yet. It's your opinion, but
All right. Let's see. We got one skip on Rumble. All right, come on. Come on, YouTube. Give me the results. Yo, what the hell? Did it just freeze on me? There we go. Skip Perry. 6, 7, 7. That would boost it. No. Okay, we're rolling.
regarding
when a judge rules on it,
okay,
that's the law. Okay.
It's the law at that moment until the next judge rules on it. Okay. Right? Because you understand the court system. You're the attorney here. I'm not. But you're not saying he broke the law regarding the riots in Los Angeles right now, or are you saying that?
That hasn't been ruled upon yet. So,
but are you saying
the
he
answer
broke
is
the law?
I believe that he did, but that is not what I'm referring to.
Okay, you're not referring.
No,
to
I
that.
just
Okay.
told you
All right,
there
I
are
just want to be clear.
appropriations.
Earlier yesterday, there was a whole questioning line with Pritzker here about, have you ever visited a girl? Have you ever used a girl's bathroom? And he's like, no. But this tweet here, you expect everybody else to do it? And he's just like, yeah, he's a fucking joke.
About
congressional appropriations.
Because the implication, because of what this hearing is about, is that you're saying that he broke the law regarding the mobilization in Los Angeles, and you're not saying that. I want to make that clear. You're not saying that.
What he is doing is overstepping his authority, and we are going to court.
Okay. So let me ask you a couple questions, because I want to go through a little walk down memory lane here in history for you. In 1794, George Washington mobilized the military. You familiar with the Whiskey Rebellion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so was Washington beyond his scope? Did he overstep?
What about inciting riots
I'm just
on
asking
January
what he
6th?
did.
Copyright
We're
in
talking-
this-
What about inciting riots on January 6th? Jesus Christ, what about it? Well, oh my Jesus. You know nothing about it.
Building.
Sir,
Well, you're asking.
I'm asking, you're saying he's breaking the law.
Yes.
Ms.
He
Hochul,
has broken the
Governor
law,
Hochul,
and he
you're
is
also
breaking
an attorney. How about Abraham Lincoln, 1862? Did he do it?
Huh?
The abuse of power is an overreach into the
Okay. How
responsibility
about
of
Dwight
state-
Eisenhower? Did he do it when he mobilized?
in situations where
John
you're
Kennedy.
overruling.
John Kennedy.
You seriously don't want an
Twice.
answer from me.
John
I
F.
won't even
Kennedy.
bother.
How about Lyndon Johnson, 1865, 18...
I'm not going to bother because you don't really want a question. I'm not going to. Oh, no, because I don't know shit about what you're talking about.
Or 1965 and 67 and 68. Is that you're saying that's against the law? What the president is now doing? Are you guys? You're the attorneys here, and I'm not talking to Governor Walz here because he's not an attorney. He called himself a knucklehead, so I'm leaving him out of this right now.
That was just a little jab at him, though.
Are you guys familiar with sections 251 through 255 of Title 10 of the U.S. Code?
The conditions under which a president may usurp the authority of a governor in activating
called
the National
himself a
Guard is under
knucklehead, put
an invasion
tampons
or an
in boys'
insurrection.
bathrooms. I don't
would
think he
argue that neither
qualifies.
one of those
Governor
things have
Hochul,
been-
I would refer you to section 253. I'm not going to bore everybody with reading it for you, but you're wrong. And to accuse the president, quite honestly, that's the least that you've accused him of. You've also, in this room, he's been accused of being a dictator, maybe not by you. And if you're willing to say he's not one, we'd love to hear it. But also that the law enforcement agents are Nazis with Gestapo-like tactics. Governor Walz, you mentioned that
That's
in
funny,
a commencement
Jonah, 'cause
speech. Now, let me
there's a
ask you,
witness
I'm going to
whose
ask
name
you
is
three of you
Perryman.
this. 8 CFR 287.7. It arises from the Secretary's power under Section 103A3 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA. So do Sections 236, 241, 287. Are those things laws that should be followed and enforced? Are you okay with those things being laws and enforced or not?
What up, Bruce? He just came home tonight. Today. He's been sitting there trying to recover, and yeah, he came home today. So everything's looking good so far. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the specifics of anything, but he's home.
Federal immigration laws are designed to be enforced by the federal government.
So you're okay? You're okay with that? Is that each one of you?
The state cooperates.
I don't know what you read. I don't have that in front of me.
These are laws, Governor Walz, that are on the books. It's the Immigration and Nationalities Act, and those are sections of them, as is 8 U.S.C. 1226A, 8 U.S.C. 1357A2, 8 U.S.C. 1357A4, 8 U.S.C. 1357A5.
Would the gentleman provide copies of that
What up,
for
Just
the
Peace
witnesses?
Girl?
If you're going to cite a law.
We all know President Trump offered the National Guard on January 6th. It's well documented. Capitol Hill is not a state. It's under congressional leadership jurisdiction. No? Yes. Yes. Here's the thing, though. Did you also know that 10 square miles, that there's not even supposed to be a resident, a citizen, anybody living in there except for government officials themselves? However, there is a lot going on in that area. It also looks like our federal government is set up January 6th, and we have gone through a lot to actually prove that. Well, not prove, but show evidence of, because we can't quantify one way or another. Nancy Pelosi had a hand in it. Stephen's son already said 71 fucking minutes. It's in the countdown. Yogananda Pittman sits in as the chief of police for Berkeley, which is the district right next to Nancy Pelosi, and she didn't give a single fucking command. but she was the head of the fucking command center at that point. Little weird. Weird.
Law, you provide a copy for the witnesses typically.
Why did I go that route? I don't know.
These two of these governors are attorneys, sir. I'm not. They should know this and I shouldn't. But I'm just asking, let's just assume that these are laws.
Is that live coverage?
Let's
No.
just assume I'm
These
not
are just
lying
clips
to you, that
because
these
I
are
can't
laws on
find
the
live
books right
coverage right now.
Are you okay with them being enforced?
I can throw it to local news.
You might be asking us a lot. Governors don't get to deal in hypotheticals.
Okay, so putting myself on them,
process
these
is
are
followed.
laws, these are current laws
All
on the
laws
books
if due
regarding
process is
immigration and naturalization.
We abide by all of those laws.
You will abide by all these laws?
We abide by
Okay.
federal law. We
Governor Hochul, do you
by
abide?
State law.
We follow all state and federal laws.
Governor Waltz, do you abide?
We abide by
Is
all
there
laws
any
if due process is
detainer,
followed.
is there any ICE detainer that you will reject, that you will instruct your law
is that,
enforcement community
KCLA?
or corrections facilities and enforcement community in your states to reject? Anyone for any reason? A
Every
legal
jur-
ICE detainer under the laws that I just
K-Cal.
cited?
Every
Yeah,
jurisdiction
KCLA.
in Minnesota follows the law.
Every single one.
Okay, and his gentleman's time's expired, but please feel free to answer the question, Governor.
Well, that's KTLA. They're not live. though.
We follow all laws, state.
But you don't. That's my point.
In
You
Minnesota,
actually don't.
there's
I want
a
you to
flora
say you
fauna-
will, because we hope you will, but you
Well,
actually don't, and you haven't,
Well, the
which is
courts-
why we have
the
this
courts will
horrific
determine
mess.
that.
I yield.
Chair,
Can we allow their witness to answer?
No, see, they're
That'd be
not-
great. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Ms. Ansari from Arizona.
While I continue to look, I think that's how you spell it. I'm not sure, but we're rolling with it anyway. Dropping that off in the Rumble chat. You got 1 minute, and now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much, governors, for being here. I am the proud daughter of immigrants who fled an authoritarian regime, and it is especially devastating as a first-generation American to watch Donald Trump's reckless, cruel, and radical policies transform this country into an authoritarian regime. Mr. Perry just mocked us for referring to Donald Trump as a dictator, so let's run through the list.
Yeah, there
Donald
ain't nothing
Trump
out there
has,
right
since
now
he
with
was
the Los
inaugurated,
Angeles.
pardoned violent January 6 insurrectionists. Dictator. Defied Supreme Court orders and attacked the judiciary. Dictator. Unilaterally abolished congressionally chartered federal agencies. Dictator. Attacked the free press. Sounds like a dictator. Kidnapped people off of the streets and deported them to foreign prisons without due process. Sounds like a dictator. Defunded higher education. Dictator.
Bitch, it looks like it is time to fucking go. What up, mysteries? Skip Ansari? Yes. Ansari. Oh, I spelled that right. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, we skipping this bitch. Let's go. Who's next? Is that? Oh, I already know. Ladies and gentlemen, poll going out again. Do we skip Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I'll yield to my friend from Georgia, Ms. Green.
Thank you. Governor Hochul, are you a Democrat? Yes or no?
I'm a proud registered Democrat, yes.
Did you support Joe Biden for president? Yes or no?
I did.
Did you support the Biden administration's policies for the past 4 years?
I raised my concerns in many
That's a
meetings
yes
with the
or no
administrations
question.
about how the border was being enforced, and so I raised concerns.
So
I
you
said-
just stated, I'll reclaim my time, you said you're a proud Democrat, you supported Joe Biden for president. Clearly, you supported the Biden administration's policies.
I've
Did
supported
you
many of
swear,
them, yes,
Governor
I have.
Hochul, did you swear an oath to faithfully uphold New York's Constitution and laws?
I certainly did.
In 2017, New York became a sanctuary state when Governor Cuomo signed Executive Order 170. This states, it directs that no state officers or employees, including law enforcement officers, shall disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal
Let's see. We got 2-1 Rumble for keep. Do we skip? 87% said no. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, let's go.
Civil
Y'all are
immigration
picking up them
enforcement
votes, so let's do
unless
it.
required by the law. Do you support this law as governor of New York?
Yes, this pertains to civil enforcement.
So you do enforce sanctuary policies of New York?
I supporting helping law enforcement when it comes and ICE when it comes to.
Thank you. I
dealing with
reclaim my
criminals.
time.
Wait. Just Peace Girl, no. She only had concerns when she had to send the National Guard into the subway. It was Mayor Adams that raised that fucking alarm about that. This motherfucker actually said, what, these migrants are going to destroy this city. We're getting $10,000 a month into this city. And then a month later, the FBI raids him because somehow the country of Turkey got him elected to mayor of New York City by giving him upgraded flights and some other bullshit along the way. The country of Turkey gave him upgraded flights on Turkish Airlines that he took. So somehow that got him elected to New York City's mayor. Yeah.
You support sanctuary policies that have led to the horrific murder of people, Americans.
It's stupid.
This Fox News got it wrong. It should say monster. Arrested in broad daylight rape of a 13-year-old in a New York park. This girl was raped at knife point in the park near New York Mets Stadium. That's your state, Governor Hochul. New York Post also got it wrong and called him a migrant. That's a monster. Busted in brutal beating of New York PD cops in Times Square are members of bloodthirsty Trinde Aragua gangs. That's your state where you support your sanctuary state laws. Also, Governor Hochul, do you recognize this image where a homeless woman was burned alive by an illegal alien monster? Where you uphold the laws to protect these monsters in your state, and then you force the New York citizens that pay taxes to pay for these people. This is the result of your sick and disgusting treasonous laws that you uphold as governor.
New York is not a
I
sanctuary
didn't
state for
recognize you, Ms.
criminals.
Hochul. This is my time. Do you know the name Laken Riley? Do you know the name Laken Riley?
Yes, I do.
Would that be the one?
Do. Jose Ibarra murdered 22-year-old Laken Riley. He's an illegal alien monster from Venezuela, convicted of 10 charges. He was first arrested by the Biden administration that you stated that you support. Joe Biden for president, right? Proud Democrat, Governor Hochul. First arrested at the border and released by the Democrats that you support. Then, guess what? He made it to New York because the Biden administration flew illegals all over the country, and your state was one that accepted them.
Yep. Some actually even came to my fucking state too.
Lived at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Queens, an upscale hotel that was turned into an illegal alien shelter at the taxpayers' expense. $2 million a month went to this hotel. The second time he was arrested was in the state of New York for endangering a child. But he was released quickly before ICE could even issue a detainer, because you support those laws, Governor Hochul. Then he flew, get this is shocking. He flew from the state of New York to my home state in Georgia, and you all paid for it. Because, why? Because it was reticketing, and that was the little gift that you were giving my state by sending monsters there. Costs the state of New York $5 to $10 million a day to feed and house illegals. Are you smiling at me about this?
No, I'm not.
You look like you got quite a smile on your face.
No.
Because I can tell you,
Gentlelady
people,
will not.
this is my time, reclaiming my time.
I'm thinking about
attack the witness.
Don't you dare
Don't attack the
smile
witness.
about the murder of
No, I'm
Laken
thinking about
Riley.
her parents.
The third time,
Don't question how I look.
Jose
My heart is
Ibarra-
breaking.
You're thinking about her parents and your heart is breaking while you smile about this girl's death.
For her
My
parents.
time, Governor Hochul. The third time he was arrested was in the sanctuary city of Athens, another Democrat policy. And then he went on and attempted to rape Laken Riley and murdered her. He murdered her. Let me explain something to you. This little girl right here, she would be alive today if you weren't such a treasonous governor supporting sanctuary laws in the state of New York. This little girl would be alive today, and her mother very much would like for her to be alive. This is outrageous for anybody in this country to support for non-citizens to be able to come in our country, be able to travel wherever they want, and then make taxpayers pay to house them, feed them, and then give them a plane ticket after they had been arrested in their state. That's what you did. You are responsible for the murder of this little girl, Laken Riley. And the Department of Justice should prosecute you for her murder.
Objection. Objection.
I don't care how much you object, and if you support it too, you're responsible for her murder. I yield now, Mr. Chairman.
On a point of
I'm fucking telling you. The Republican Party wears their fucking balls on their goddamn chest. She just fucking called it the same thing I've been saying this entire fucking time. She's been leading that charge. She is 100% correct. Giving aid and comfort to those who levy war against you is fucking treasonous. You gave an oath of office, bitch.
Point of order. Point of order.
Gentlelady's time's expired. State your point.
Mr. Chairman, these witnesses have been here for over 4 hours. They've all voluntarily have been engaging with our members with respect. They've all treated our members with respect.
Laken Riley is dead forever. 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 They can sit there all day.
My time.
Hold on. No, wait. State your point.
I'm trying to.
State your point. No. It's a point of inquiry, not a debate.
Our rules, if you would let me speak, our rules of decorum dictate that our witnesses should be treated with respect, and I ask you to enforce decorum and remind committee members to treat our witnesses with respect.
Our members are treating the witnesses with respect. This is not a courtroom. We engage with the witnesses, and I think everybody's acting within the realm. We haven't cried and screamed when you all are criticizing the current president, even though that's in the rules, not criticizing.
Law and how they look. How they look.
All right. Maybe
Mr. Chairman,
if you win the chairmanship, if you all flip the
Criticizing how they look by saying you're smiling about a woman's fucking death?
House, you win the chairmanship, then you can do what Ms. Crockett says she's going to do and try to impeach Trump again or whatever you're all.
Mr. Chairman, is there any chance you would yield me 30 seconds to just respond that we are heartbroken what happened to her family? Laken Riley should be alive today. And I'm so sorry for what happened to her. I truly am what happened. But this has nothing to do with our civil enforcement of the laws. We are always cooperating with criminal investigations, always have, always will. So misstating our policies is not serving the purpose of making sure we have meaningful policies that'll actually move the dime. Why don't we?
This bitch does look like a scarecrow in makeup. I'll admit that. She looks like the scarecrow from, the first Dark Knight movie.
Why aren't we working together to come up with meaningful immigration reform, secure our borders, do vetting at the border? We're simply asking.
We're going to go back. Okay, Governor, with all due respect, there was no the policy of the previous administration was an open border. It was an open border. You all supported that. Now you're saying we need
point of order.
You were saying you were no. I mean,
Ms.
Ocasio-Cortez, I will recognize you because I like you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that.
Here's the border was open, and you all said nothing. All right, now you said we had to pass legislation. We didn't have to pass legislation. Donald Trump secured the border on the first day. Now, there's no question you all have been obstructing and criticizing and failing to work with this administration in trying to apprehend the criminal illegals. That's what this hearing's about. It's not about theater. It's about trying to get a consensus on working with this administration to deport the criminal illegals.
No, it's theater to them.
We do it every day of the week, Mr.
all the
Chairman.
people who are over here illegally to deport the criminal illegals. So
we do it every day of the week.
I'm going to let Ms. Ocasio-Cortez state her point, and then
Let's state the point. Goddamn.
We're going to go to Ro Khanna.
Oh, we can continue. I was just curious whose time it was, but we can proceed.
right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have
I'm going to get the name right. This might be an interesting one to see in the chat for you guys. Let me get that ready.
a unanimous consent request.
Okay.
I'd like to seek unanimous consent to enter into the record this tweet. Just happened, stunning. Senator Alex Padilla from California was just forcibly removed from the news conference being held by
Without
DHS.
objection to order. You just have to state the title. Go ahead.
This is the title.
Mr. Lynch. Chair recognizes Mr. Lynch.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent request. This is from MSN. Unquestionably in violation. Judge says U.S. government didn't follow court orders on
Without objection, so ordered.
Deportation. The next one is from Rolling Stone. Trump has now deported multiple U.S. citizens, children with cancer.
Without objection, so ordered.
This is New York Times. L.A. deployments of the military to cost $134
Without
million
objection,
in the
so
last
ordered.
50 days. And lastly, Secretary Hegseth will not commit to obeying the court's order on Marines in Los Angeles.
Without objection to order. Chair recognizes Mr. Khanna from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give it a little bit of extra time here. Catch up with the chat, but I will say this. Before we take this vote, this right here is the only Democrat during the whole Twitter files, during the whole censorship, the only Democrat and the only House of Representatives member, Democrat, Republican, don't matter, whoever had access, the only one of them to say this is a breach of your First Amendment rights. I want nothing to do with it. Do we listen to Ro Khanna or not?
Governor Pritzker, I've admired your moral clarity during these times. You had a speech about a month and a half ago where you said you would not bend the knee to any president of any party. I highly recommend the American people listen to that speech in its entirety. Professor Chenoweth has said at Harvard that if 3.5% of a population engage in peaceful protest, that is the single best way to bring change and stand up for constitutional values. As you know, there's the No Kings protests that are happening this weekend. I'd like you to weigh in and share your thoughts about what that could mean for the country.
Thank you, Congressman. And let me say that peaceful protest has been the avenue for so much positive social change in this country. I think about the civil rights movement as the best example of that. And it continues to be civil rights for LGBTQ people, civil rights for immigrants, et cetera. I encourage people to peacefully protest, and I have said that many times. I think, getting out your microphones and your megaphones, speaking up, speaking out, and very importantly,
all right. Nobody on Rumble? Come on, Rumble. Kick your votes in. Just say yes, no. Some kind of positive message. I count the positive messages for them. I count the negative messages. Once my chat goes up there on Rumble, whatever your reply is, I count it. As long as it makes sense to the point at hand. But do we skip Ro Khanna? Out of 12 votes? 58% said no. Oh, you already skipped out on that, Amanda.
for people who
We
can
ain't
vote,
counting that one.
go to the ballot box and vote.
You skipped your minute.
Too many people don't do that, and too many people don't stand up and speak out because they're a little bit afraid. And in this environment, I have to say, President Trump has created a situation where people are afraid. They're afraid, and they're afraid they're going to get targeted, because that is what's happening under this administration. People are getting individually targeted when they stand up and speak out.
Thank you. Governor Walz, I thought you conducted yourself with such dignity as our vice presidential candidate. You and Gwen and many of your former colleagues are really proud of how you ran And one of the things even people who voted for President Trump said about you is he's so decent, he's kind, he deals with people with respect. What is happening in this country that we've started to demonize immigrants? You know, when I grew up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, it was 99% white. I grew up as an Indian American of Hindu faith. I never felt demonized, felt different, made to feel like I didn't belong. And something is going on where we've created a permission structure for that. How do we model the kind of decency that you've exhibited so that we become a cohesive community like this country has always been?
Well, Congressman, thank you for the kind words. I think the people of this country expect us to do that. Look, I think we could all agree these horrific situations that happen, that have been highlighted in here, we all hate that, but we also lift up the great success stories. And I will just tell you, Congressman, on Tuesday night at 2 a.m.,
I'm still running a rumble.
Closely divided legislature in the country,
I
101 to
still see
100.
myself live.
And we passed bipartisan legislation that kept us with a balanced budget, a AAA bond rating. We invested in our schools, we invested in our roads, and we did it with civility. We did it with an eye to the future, and we did it, Republicans and Democrats, with the idea that we are a nation of immigrants, and people simply want to make sure that if the laws are being asked to be followed, people are given due process. So I have to tell you, we have a model. It's our Constitution. We have a model on how to do this, and we've done it before. And I would just encourage all of us to be part of the solution rather than just continue to demonize each other.
Thank you, Governor. Governor Hochul, I appreciate your speaking out about the Marines being sent into my state. I was horrified. There's just footage today of Senator Padilla being shoved out. I don't know if people have seen it, but he went to ask Secretary Noem a question, and the police literally grabbed the senator and shoved him out of the room. You know, the Marines, I want to get back to the Marines, though. I mean,
I'm not seeing anything.
The
of
fact
mine.
is that we have a principle called federalism in this country.
How you doing?
No one in Los Angeles asked for the Marines. No one in California asked for the Marines. I mean, do people's voices not matter of what we want locally and in a state way? Tell me how you would feel if Marines were sent into your state or your senators were taken by the fists and pushed out of rooms. What is going on in this country?
Thank you for the question. It's disturbing at so many levels. I mean, I served as a member of the Armed Services Committee when I served in this body years ago. And to think that the Marines are being deployed against fellow citizens, fellow residents, is unprecedented. Now, we have different levels of law enforcement to manage crowds. That's all this is a crowd. When it gets out of control, when it's violent, there must be consequences. And that's what the police are trained to do, whether they're LAPD or what we have in New York is one of the highest trained organization of top law enforcement, people who put their lives on the line every day, who know how to deal with crowds and protests and if they devolve into riots. But to go to the extreme of not just the National Guard, which usurps the governor's authority, the governors are the commanders-in-chief of the National Guards, but to go all the way to the U.S. military as an indication that a mayor and a governor can't handle what's happening in their own streets is overkill at a level that is just unconscionable. And I hope we do not see this in other cities. We need to just calm the situation down, get rid of the criminals, we'll work together every day, and leave law-abiding individuals alone.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Burchett from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Walz, you said that as long as you are governor, immigrants.
All right, hold up, ladies and gentlemen. I came back at the right time on that one.
Will be welcome in
Who is this
Minnesota.
one?
Do you find a difference between an...
Oh, Burchett, why do I not know that voice? And that voice always sounds familiar, but I can never say the name. All right. We doing it, Chet? Go ahead. Hit him up. Are we skipping?
immigrant and an illegal immigrant?
A difference.
What up, Hugh Essence?
Is there a difference?
Are we skipping Burchett?
Legal status or otherwise?
Sorry.
Well, the legal status is different, but in Minnesota, we have a long tradition of welcoming.
Okay. ICE in St. Paul arrested a criminal illegal alien who had been convicted for possession of child pornography on a work computer. Do you still stand by your statement that ICE agents are the modern-day Gestapo?
ICE agents need to do a job, but they need to do it within the realm of due process and the law, wearing masks, no notice of who they are, no notice of.
It's a few seconds off, but let's go ahead. Nobody on Rumble sounded off. All right. 89%. Okay, well, we'll count that one because I stopped it at just the time when that actually happened. But 89%. Huh? 11. That kicks it up in the no category. Let's roll with Burchett.
The bans and picking people up off the streets without that due process. I stand that is wrong and a road towards authoritarianism. I certainly stand by that.
You know, I have one rule. I have a couple rules in my office, but one of them is never compare anything dealing with the Holocaust except for the Holocaust. I think that it desensitizes people about what really went on in Nazi Germany by making any comparisons there. Does Minnesota receive federal tax dollars for any programs that
Play Burchett's Mommy Hot Pockets quote too, please. Mommy Hot Pockets quote. Now, Jennifer, hit that up in the Discord with that then.
assist illegal?
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. This one right here. Full volume.
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
It ended it. But, however, I gotta play it. I gotta play it. I want to call him Ratskin. No, that was Nick Sorter. Sorry, guys. She scrolled me the fuck out. Right here. Where is it? Show me.
You little fascist, get out of my face. Hey, Congressman, quick question for you. So you initially, originally, hi, my name is Nick. Nick, nice to meet you. I'm from X. I'm from X. So I have to ask you. Wait, you said Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You voiced a lot of support for him.
Here's the reason why you guys can never find anything really damning about this asshole, other than he's a fucking prick. Rakita Law has raided the stream. How you doing? Dude. Kind of paid attention a little bit, but I kind of fell off. Oh, I need to dive into your world there. Whatever happened with you. But Rakita Law, I appreciate you. The Rumble raid has begun. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what's actually happening tonight, all right? I'm showing Jamie Raskin showing his fucking ass off to Nick Sorter right here because this dude's tripping the fuck out. But what we are actually doing is we are listening to the Sanctuary City hearing. I'm sorry, not Sanctuary City, Sanctuary State governors. You know, we're listening to that. You vote in the chat for the Rumble side because we can't do that. I can do it for YouTube, but I can't do it for Rumble. I'm going to post if we skip or not. You say yes or no in the chat. You dictate who we listen to tonight. But you're not dictating this because this is the reason why you motherfuckers can't find a damn thing on Rat Foreskin. More than the fact that he's just a dick.
Him originally, now he's been charged with facilitating the transport of illegals. Are you still going to double down on that? So he gets due process now? Do you believe in due process? I don't think he. Wait, was he supposed to be here to begin with? Was he illegal? Was he illegal? Due process. How did Kilmar Abrego Garcia get here? Allowed him to be here. Did you know that? How did he get here?
Americans believe in due process. You know, the shit that you set up for fucking years against us and you championed. But now that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back here in the United States facing human trafficking, and some of them were goddamn children, Nick's calling you out on your support for that publicly, and hearing after hearing we have listened to. You have like gargled the fucking ball sack so fucking hard. And now that this has come out, Nick can confront you about it. And all you do is what?
Did he come here legally? Your girlfriend. Did he come here legally? Get back to your job, man. So you can't answer the question. Yeah, no. But you seem a little angry about it. Is that why? Is it because you were made to be a fool out over it? I mean, you were supporting a man whose wife accused him of beating her. Trump's judge allowed him to be in the country. Did you know?
Trump's judge allowed him to be in the country. I was filleting the motherfucker verbally every goddamn chance I got, but Trump's judge allowed him to be in the country.
He's not Trump's judge allowed him to be in the country. He was allowed in the country, and then what? And then what happened? And then what happened? Then he was deported back to his home country. You keep calling him the Maryland father, who apparently beats his wife, which she said on the record that he beats her. Go back to your QAnon meeting.
Go back to your QAnon meeting. Oh my God, QAnon worked there for a minute because you spread it on everything, and then everybody took a look at QAnon and said, "What the fuck is this dumb shit? You think this represents us?" But that's your fallback because it worked for half a second to the brainless goddamn morons that took a longer time to reach out. Oh, let's go to the Iran shit then. I don't know what this is in the top corner here. Protests in Los Angeles, curfew in effect at 8 o'clock. We're coming from John Hicks over here in the corner. Let's go. But for this dick suck right here. I'm going to say it because it can be a point fucking made. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, there is video of this motherfucker being let go by local police force because somebody higher up said something. Kilmar Abrego Garcia trafficked people into this fucking country. He's been here illegally. Well, that he even trafficked were children. This motherfucker right here verbally swallowed the fucking baby gravy every goddamn chance he got. If you are giving aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States, and I would say an enemy to me as a person, and I'm going to bring it up for every single one of you, and I would love to get Nick's take on this. This will be fun. 18. Look, it's already there. It's already there. 18 U.S. Code 2381 treason. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States, which means you took some kind of oath, whether you were defending, whether you were representing, in any way, you took some kind of oath to this country. Now, I have had a talk with Joseph Sweeney about this. He has actually led me down a rabbit hole of this shit. Could you, or could you not, say that just because you stood up in school, you put your hand over your heart and you said the Pledge of Allegiance, do you not owe allegiance to this country then? Huh? They're children. Okay. What about those of legal age? What about those of college age? Would you still consider them putting their hands over their heart mandatory? You wonder why that was taken out of school, right? God damn. But whoever owing allegiance to the United States, which means you took some kind of oath, levies war against them. There ain't no damn way in hell you're going to sit here and tell me that out of our founding fathers, this is written into the Constitution of the United States of America, our founding fathers never said them as the federal government. They said them as the actual citizens of this country. Or being the operative word in this, because everybody's like, oh, treason, you need to be at war with this and this and this. Okay. Or changes the entire fucking wording of this, because or means giving an alternative to. So you can levy war against the citizens of the United States. Alternatively, adhere to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, and you're guilty of treason and shall suffer, for YouTube, unaliving, or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title not less than $10,000. I say we adjust that for inflation and shall be incapable of holding office under the United States. Sweeney was fucking right, though. You see how this can be weaponized? However, no, you got Tren de Aragua popping off. You got MS-13 going off. You got all these illegals that are flooding this country demanding we do as they say, just because our federal government said, welcome the fuck in, we're going to give you everything. You literally used a fucking army into our border. Let me ask you a question. What bit of money, as far as warfare, would I ever have to spend if I send you, my people, into your country and you fund them not only to survive, but to arm themselves? Why would I send one goddamn bullet that direction? I've been raising that point. Let's take it back to the whole, what was it? The Carrie Lake leak, where they were trying to actually bribe her to step the fuck down. The dude said there, by the way, I hear the cartels are working in all 50 fucking states. And she's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, not too long after that, what was that, 3, 4, maybe 5 months, we start hearing about Tren de Aragua taking over fucking places all over, taking over apartment buildings all over the place. Come on. Too many things may line up to this, but let's go back, because y'all said we need to actually listen to Burchett. I squirreled the fuck out hard. My bad. How y'all doing tonight?
Immigrants.
Minnesota's federal tax dollars are appropriated by you in Congress, and then we use state dollars under our laws.
During the Biden administration, nearly $1.5 billion was sent to sanctuary states to pay for their illegal immigration policies, housing, health care. Governor Hochul, are crimes committed by illegal aliens preventable, in your opinion?
Our law enforcement is highly trained in how to identify prospective perpetrators, but certainly we try to prevent crimes, and we also work to resolve them and make sure that if there's a crime committed, that people find their time in court and are incarcerated. That's how it's always worked.
By definition, illegal aliens are unlawfully present in the United States. They should not be in here in the first place to commit crimes. Don't you agree with that?
Let me bring that back.
Depends on the circumstances of coming over. I mean, there's civil violations. There's also criminals. So it's the federal government's determination on the status of an individual. If they're
But I mean, if they're not here, the crime's not going to be
Send
committed.
it to the Discord, Jonah.
I think if
Tag me with it.
They're not going to be here, ma'am. The crime is not going to be committed.
If there was no one in our country, no crimes would be committed. I suppose you could say the same thing.
A young man in my district whose family is very close to me lost their son to an illegal alien. And I can guarantee you if that illegal alien, if we'd followed the laws of the land and there'd been some enforcement, that young man would be here today. Well, let me ask you this. Why did your state issue say that you are welcome with open arms in reference to illegal aliens? That was a direct quote attributed to you, ma'am.
It's a 400-year history we have in the state of New York of welcoming all. I don't know why we would change that now.
Okay, Governor Pritzker, you mentioned in your opening statement and criminals have no place in our country, but Cook County released numerous criminal migrants last year, including one that was charged with raping a minor. Why would you release a criminal rapist back into your community?
Thank you, Congressman. First of all, we don't need to release somebody if ICE or another law enforcement authority shows up with a judicial warrant. Then that's just the fact. And if somebody gets released, it's usually because they've had due process and determined not to be eligible to be held. That's
okay. But do you know what happened after that individual was released?
I don't. But again, a judicial warrant, if appropriate.
I'll tell you, 17 days later, he was charged with a homicide. And in Cook County.
Deluxe Knight, thank you for the 10. Just left Andrew Wilson's invasion. That was awesome. That was awesome. Some awesome trolling. Exited for tomorrow. Planning to get some videos on the streets here while trolling in my truck with a huge flag in the back. Do it, man. Do your thing. Just be careful with that shit and don't get yourself temmed up. You got work to do tomorrow. We riot watching.
County also released a migrant charged with domestic violence in August of 2024. You know what this individual was charged with 1 month later?
No, sir, I'm not sure what.
Aggravated criminal sexual assault and abuse of minor. And as governor, have you done anything to ensure local and county governments aren't releasing illegal immigrants charged with sexual or violent crimes?
As a matter of fact, first of all, we chase down criminals every single day. We put them in jail. We try them, put them through due process. They get convicted. They get put into our correction system. We do that every single day. You're implying that we're not. We are. In fact, our law enforcement are some of the best in the country. They do their job.
Well, if these laws were enforced, then I would assume these people wouldn't be back out on the streets so freely. How many programs does Illinois have that explicitly supports illegal immigrants?
So we've created programs to deal with not illegal. I mean, we have one program that's related to undocumented people who are.
I'm out of time.
The most vulnerable.
The answer is at least four. Health benefits for immigrants, HBIS, health benefits for immigrants, adults, HBI, retention of Illinois students, and equity rise.
You're gonna have to
acronym for that.
Jonah, you're going to have to tag me in Discord with that. Not that, because if I bring it up in a browser, I'm not logging into different things. But yeah.
Act in the Illinois Dream Fund. And I'm sorry I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Sure, that's Mr. Min.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to finish the title of the article that I was trying to read into unanimous consent.
Okay.
God damn it.
Stunning. Senator Alex Padilla, California, was just forcefully removed from the news conference being held by DHS Kristi Noem in Westwood. Senator attempted to.
Ladies and gentlemen, the motherfucker came in, barging the goddamn fucking, demanding his questions be answered. This was Alex Padilla.
Guys, ready? And bell. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been docked?
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, it's right behind my back.
All right, cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here for FBI, right? So what, I'm sorry? There's no recording allowed out here. That's my boss. I have to There's no recording allowed out here. You can record. There's no recording allowed out here. I'm not a member of the press. There's no recording allowed. I understand that, sir, but...
All right. I'm sorry. You busting, demanding shit. You want to throw a fucking fit. this was fucking staged. It was either throw a fit and she allow you to barge in and take command, or you get arrested and it's a fucking scene. It's a win-win for you.
That's the title.
He was handcuffed in the hallway. Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, he rushed the podium. He was being disruptive, and that is not conducive to
A senator
member
was
of elected
forcefully
body.
shoved
Thank
to
you,
the
Mr.
ground and arrested.
All right, order. Chair recognizes Mr.
So a senator can whine and complain about how they should be above everybody else in that point and just demand the fucking room? And if you bow down, it looks weak. But if you arrest him, you look like a fascist? Deluxe Knight, thank you for the 10. Yes, sir, I'll be safe. Won't get jammed up. I'll just leave and be here with you. Good job. Alex Padilla, former SOS of California, is born from 2 illegal parents in the U.S. This is personal for him. Ah, good point, Jennifer. Thank you for the 5.
Men from California.
I just want to follow up my Republican colleague's comments since he's talking so much about sexual assault and note that our current president was found civilly liable for sexual assault. I also want to know that Elon Musk, and for the record, just want to note that Elon Musk, who was once part of this administration, not so long ago, accused the president of being part of the Epstein files.
We thrown on
all
X
of great
has it.
interest and something perhaps we should look into some oversight on. But governors, I want to ask you a few questions. Please raise your hand if your state has any laws or policies that prevent ICE from enforcing federal immigration laws. Note for the record that no one has their hand up. Governors, please raise your hand if you're aware of any laws or policies that prevent federal authorities from...
You know what? Fuck, Chet, I'll fuck this up. You've already heard a little bit, but it'll be quick. Do we skip men? Skip men, yes or no? Hit it up in the chat.
Enforcing immigration laws in any city or state in the United States. Again,
What
no
up, RP?
hands are up, and that's because there's no such thing as sanctuary from federal laws anywhere in this country. What is really at stake here is whether state resources, including National Guard troops, should be used for Donald Trump's immigration policies, or whether National Guardsmen should be used primarily for responding to state emergencies, supporting state law enforcement priorities, or whether they should be conscripted to support ICE. This is really a question about states' rights, and it's being starkly illustrated right now with what's happening in Los Angeles, just up the way from my district in Orange County, where the Trump administration has claimed authority to deploy 4,000 troops from the California National Guard.
Do we skip men? We got nobody on Rumble. Oh, the skip men is 62%. 37% said no. Huh? Y'all know who it is. Hold on. Got to get this into the record as well.
Just unprecedented. It is illegal, and it is very alarming to those of us who care about democracy and the rule of that law. And with that, I yield back. But with unanimous consent, I would ask to introduce this article into the record. Marines to join National Guard troops protecting
I'm going to
ICE
give you a
agents.
little bit of a head start on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Do we skip Nancy Mace?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record this picture of Senator Padilla being
1 minute when she
knuckled
starts
in,
talking.
And looks like he's being arrested and restrained by 3 police officers. I can't understand.
We'll enter the picture without objection to order. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to the unofficial 2028 Democrat presidential primary right here on stage at the Oversight Committee. Governor Newsom must be seething. The 3 of you beat him to the stage, but he's a little busy right now defending illegals and defending Antifa, torching what is left of Los Angeles. Governor Walz knows the playbook. In 2020, he rolled out the red carpet for anarchists while Minnesotans watched their neighborhoods burn. You've turned your states into sanctuaries for illegals. You've done more to shield MS-13 than to protect the single mom working 2 jobs in Chicago, Queens, or Minneapolis. And you've worked harder against ICE than with them. So Governor Walz, and boy, does that feel nice to say the word governor, my first question is for you. Did you know the Nazis killed 6 million Jews during the Holocaust? It's a yes or no question. Did you know the Nazis killed 6 million Jews during the Holocaust?
Pushing my button to answer.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that's historic.
Okay, would you agree the Holocaust is the most horrific atrocity in human history?
Let's see. Skip Mays? No Skip Mays. Okay, so I'm going to say no Skip Mays. That's kind of fucked up. But the fact that you put no? Oh, shit. You trying to fuck me up, RP. But let's see. I live 50 miles from downtown and we all hate Newsom. Oh, 15. Jesus Christ. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're not skipping Nancy Mace. As a matter of fact, y'all need to hear this. Because I'm telling you, the Republican Party wears its balls on its chest, and the Republican Party will bring you the first woman president of the United States. It's not going to be this woman, but there's a lot to choose from.
History, yes or no?
I think the Holocaust ranks amongst them, yes.
Did you know the Nazi Gestapo imprisoned, tortured, and murdered Jews by the hundreds of thousands and committed genocide against the Jews? Did you know that?
I do know they operated as secret.
Did you know ICE has done none of that? Yes or no?
Operated as a secret police force?
No, that's not the question. Did you know that ICE has not committed genocide against anyone?
Yes, I do know that.
Okay. Do you apologize for your disgusting comparison of ICE to the Gestapo, who killed hundreds of thousands of Jews during the Holocaust?
As a history teacher,
Yes or no is the question.
a historical
You're a
comparison.
governor. You understand what the question is. It's yes or no. Will you apologize for what you said about ICE, comparing them to
ICE to
Gestapo?
identify who they are when they
up,
operate,
homie
to not
tighter?
use unmarked.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this governor, or honorable, can't answer the question. Do you believe the Nuremberg trials were a good exercise in holding the Nazis accountable? Yes or no?
I think due process.
Okay,
is
so
always
are you calling for ICE agents to be brought to a tribunal under the threat of death by comparing them to the Gestapo?
everyone is afforded due process.
Yo, Deluxe, thank you for the 5. Tagged you in Discord to show everybody what I'll be rolling in the streets with tomorrow. No one is going to keep me from supporting our Army's 250th birthday and Flag Day. I get you, but aren't you supposed to be here with me? Oh, you just gonna bail like that? All right.
What don't you understand about yes or no? Like, what can't you comprehend about yes or no questions? Do you still want to abolish ICE? Do you still want to abolish ICE? Yes or no?
Said I wanted to abolish ICE.
Didn't you march in a rally calling for ICE's abolishment?
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Well, according to widespread media reports, you did.
And the media is always correct.
How do you rate Kamala Harris's
Media
job
is
as
always
border
correct.
czar? I want a number between 1 and 10. How was she as border czar?
I wouldn't have a way to measure that. I was not in the administration.
Weren't you her running mate for vice president?
Yes.
As in the campaign.
And you
wasn't part of
can't
the
rate her role as border czar on a scale of 1 to 10. Was she great at 10 or was she a 1? Terrible.
I think her proposal that she put forward to make sure we had the bipartisan immigration.
It wasn't bipartisan. Did you ever personally speak with Kamala about Joe Biden's cognitive collapse?
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Not as her running
Get
mate
that
for vice
douche
president.
tampon.
You never once talked to her
Okay,
about
you
the
will be.
president and
All
why
right,
she
good.
was nominated instead of him.
No, not that I can recall.
What kind of operation were you guys running over there?
I was more concerned with Donald Trump's cognitive.
Thank God he's
things that we were-
he's president and J.D. Vance is vice president and not you. Have you ever served in a combat zone, Governor?
I have not, Congresswoman.
Okay. Are you still friends with school shooters?
Oh!
I have never been a friend with a school shooter.
Didn't you say you were friends with school shooters on the debate stage?
Oh, Congresswoman.
Yeah,
I
is
think that's very
bullying
evident.
is
As a teacher and a
bullying
parent.
is my mom was a teacher. I'm a high school dropout. We can talk about that later. Is
God
bullying
damn.
okay?
Is bullying okay
Mm-hmm.
as a teacher?
Is bullying okay? Yes or no? Is it okay to bully somebody?
I think
yes
there's
or
a
no?
time to push back at a bully. So yes, I do think there's a time.
So you think it's okay to bully others?
I think it's okay to bully the bully at times.
Well, you're showing that the Democrat Party is a party of violence. Were you at Tiananmen Square?
Have I been to Tiananmen Square? I have.
Were you at Tiananmen Square?
I have been at Tiananmen Square.
When were you there?
as I recall, January of 1990.
Okay. What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
Oh!
What
Okay.
do you want me to say? This is.
I want you to say that a woman like me is an adult human female, that men can't become women. You guys are the party of violence, and you're the party erasing women. You don't respect us. You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Congress.
God. Damn, I'm telling you. The Republican Party now wears its balls on its fucking chest.
Get a lady
Mr.
back.
Chairman, I would ask
Mr.
unanimous
Ocasio-Cortez from.
I got to do it. All right, we hitting this chat, but we got some bullshit happening.
New York.
All right, well, that was some kind of bingo going on over there. I don't know what's going on. Anyways.
I know what's going on.
Thank you to the witnesses for coming here today. I apologize for the treatment that the four of you have been subjected to. And Governor Walz, I just have to say, I know you're getting a lot of grief from the majority here, but you know, we are talking about individuals who have cheered on an individual who issued a Nazi salute from behind the presidential seal of the United States of America, who have cheered on the pardoning of individuals who attacked the United States Capitol and flew a Nazi flag and the flag of the Confederacy, traitors to the United States, sworn enemies of the United States of America, through the capital of this nation. And now they want to act offended because someone has the courage to say, if.
All right, that's enough of that shit. Let's take a little poll. No skips Sandy's. I'm just going to count the no. Keep AOC. Love to see dumb. Oh, okay, so you want to reverse that vote. So you say yes. We got another one. I'm still waiting for this poll to come through here on YouTube. YouTube's fucking off. You know what? Oh, there he goes. It's a 50-50. Okay. Because it's a... Oh, no. No. Kicking Rumble in. We listening. Jim Faker. No, I'm sorry. Be the one. No. That keeps it, yeah, because Jim said no. Be the one that said keep. It is 50-50. Fuck. All right, I have to. Nope. It's already too late, Amanda. I have to use it. I am over fucking ruling the vote on this one. She holds 10%. 10%. And who represents democratic fucking values? I'm telling you, Jasmine Crockett has pulled back her fucking speech. She has pulled back her image. They're running.
If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, maybe it's a duck. So I want to thank you for not wavering to their bullying, which is unconscionable and sad to see. So I just wanted to let you know that, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
To the three of you, Governor Walz, Governor Pritzker, and Governor Hochul, you three have each sworn an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, correct? I'll start with you.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have.
And I imagine that also includes the Fourth and Fifth Amendment protections for due process and the rule of law.
It does.
Sure does.
Yes.
And that means protecting your people.
I'm not going to hit the streets for a little bit. What time are we rocking this shit show tomorrow? I will give you a call on Discord around 7:30 Eastern. I'll give you a call around 7:30 Eastern. We'll set everything up. I'll get the time frame. We'll talk a little bit behind the scenes. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will go live and we will watch the riots and bullshit around, have fun. But I will say this, keep it within legal means. Walk that line, but keep it within legal means.
In your states, U.S. citizens and every individual, because that is what makes America great, that we are a land of the free and of rule of law, to protect them from infringements of their civil liberties, correct?
She floats like a duck, she's a witch.
Now, what we are seeing is a pattern where ICE is breaking the law. We have the detention of a U.S. citizen who has been detained by immigration officials. We have ICE here that has also blamed and arrested U.S. citizens for being simply suspected of being an immigrant, largely because of their appearance. In January, a Chicago-based U.S.-born citizen, Julio Noriega, was arrested by ICE and held in custody for over 10 hours. In April, a Florida Highway Patrol officer pulled over Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a United States-born citizen, and arrested him on suspicion of being in the country illegally. He had his real ID, his social security card, his mother presented his birth certificate, and they still didn't let him go. In May, U.S. citizen Leonardo Garcia Venegas was filming an ICE.
Maybe, just maybe, it's because he has something in his criminal record that actually could have him deported from this country.
Raid, he was arrested by ICE. In May, a veteran and U.S. citizen who is Puerto Rican, was detained during an ICE raid at his workplace in New York City. That's called a paper bag test.
Alex, well done. You made me choke. AOC, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then my mouth makes me look like a horse. Of course, legal means I can do that.
And your job, Governor Hochul, is to protect people from that kind of infringement, correct?
That actually choked
because
me.
All of us must adhere to the law, and no one is above it. So if a U.S. citizen tries to break the law, or if an ICE officer tries to break the law, your job is to uphold the law, correct?
We absolutely uphold the laws of the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the state of New York.
And sanctuary states are about U.S. citizens as well having sanctuary against the attacks on our constitutional rights from illegal search and seizure. There is nothing preventing ICE from issuing a warrant and you having complete compliance with their request. Correct, Governor Hochul?
This is like version 1 of genetic disorder with her. I swear to fucking God. Version 2 is somebody like Simon. And this motherfucker, let's see. I still have it screenshotted. Yep. Why? Why? Why is it 2 inches off? I'm gonna be a dick.
We comply in cases where there's been criminal activity alleged.
This dumb
Yes, we
now
always
worth $1
do.
million.
But we're not
Right.
involved in civil immigration
What up,
enforcement
Theresa Red?
because our state police that I control have to deal with other crimes that they're solving.
And apologies, I just have 10 seconds left. But when they say illegal versus legal immigration, they are trying to end legal status in the United States as well. Correct, Governor Pritzker, with the end of TPS and making people undocumented by removing legal status, ending legal status, and then having the audacity to...
Hold up. Bring it back. I'm sorry.
versus legal immigration. They are trying to end legal status in the United States as well. Correct, Governor Pritzker, with the end of TPS and
The end of TPS. Oh, temporary protected status because you came into this country and your motherfucking strongholds, literally you thought you were going to overwhelm the fucking Republican states, and the Republican states said, you're a sanctuary city, you're a sanctuary state, fucking send them over there, and then it overloaded them, and you're just like, oh shit, how do we react? Okay, fuck it, we're sanctuary, they deserve rights, go fuck yourself, this is our base now, fuck the black people, here we are.
making people undocumented by removing legal status, ending
This
legal
is their
status,
slave
and then
labor.
having the audacity to call them illegal when they were here documented, correct?
Taking students' visas away from people, taking their legal right to be in the United States away from them when they've been granted maybe years earlier to stay.
So I don't want to hear about how this is about illegal versus legal immigration. They are attacking legal status and removing legal status. The Republican majority is anti-legal immigration in the United States. And I want to make that very clear, and I yield back.
Because these motherfuckers legally came over here and could have lapsed over because they actually kind of acclimated to the wrong sort of American at one point in time and just said, fuck it, I don't have to go because there's nothing really here. It's just like, hey, you still working? You still do anything? Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Cool. Go on your way. They just say, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do now? They've been here for 30 fucking years and apparently they're getting shipped the fuck out because they acclimated to American life about not giving a fuck way too fucking early. At least become a citizen before you say fuck off. But last night, be the one my beer or my paper bag test. Yep, because all anyone cares about is the huge milk dispensers. Truth.
Chair now recognizes
Mr. Chair, unanimous consent request.
Mr. Frost.
Unanimous consent request into the record a NBC article. Senator Alex Padilla removed from news conference with Homeland Security Secretary Noem.
All right, without objection to order.
I have another one. The Hill article. Padilla forcibly removed from Noem.
Whoever said, I forget who it was early in the chat, but you were saying they were announcing this shit before the media fucking had it, before X had it. You are correct. You are correct because this shit was going on at the exact same time. Not too long after, in the time frame of everything, not too long after this motherfucker got arrested, they were speaking up.
Press conference.
Without objection to order.
And I have a third one. Axios, Democratic senator forcibly removed from DHS press conference.
Without objection to order.
Mr. Chair, also, we were just talking about this. I want to know if you can commit to working with us so we can.
You're out of order. Chair recognizes
I have
Ms.
a point.
Green
I have a point of order.
No.
I have a point of order.
State your point.
We need to subpoena.
That's not
Secretary
a point of order.
Noem.
Chair recognizes
We just
Ms.
talked
Green
about this
no, it's not a
earlier.
point.
We talked.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time.
Thrown to the ground.
Reclaiming my time.
And handcuffed in his own damn.
Oh, Democrats can't follow the rules. Can't follow the law. Can't follow the rules. Can't follow the law.
We need to subpoena Kristi Noem. It's her staff, DHS federal
There's a
officers
privilege of
that
the
threw a
majority,
US
and that
senator
means
to the
we're in
ground.
charge,
Just
not
this
your
morning we were
side.
talking about this happening
Because
to
you
governors.
lost the election.
Ms. Green, we're going to start the
Because
clock.
you supported the
about
invasion
that.
of our country.
All right.
It's my
Will
time.
you commit on the record
Stop
to
the
work
clock.
My
on
time.
subpoena
Thank you,
Kristi
Mr.
Noem?
Chairman. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
You're out of order. Chair recognizes
Will
Ms.
you
Green.
commit on the record
Thank you.
to
We gotta ask. Do we skip? Hit it up. Do we skip, Miss Green?
subpoenaing Kristi Noem because a U.S. senator was just thrown to the ground and detained in his own.
Democrats can't follow the rules. Can't
order.
follow the law. Can't follow the rules.
Shut up. Just shut up.
No, you don't.
Shut
No, you're
up.
not going to tell me to shut up.
Let's how do you get him in order? You're running for the
Not like that.
he has been out of order 6 times. He's trying to get on MSNBC. You probably knocked.
I get it.
somebody off
I don't have any problem
MSNBC
getting
to
on
get on there.
MSNBC. That's
Miss
not what it's
Green
Because he's been
is
arrested as a
recognized.
former
Yeah, well,
Antifa
okay,
member,
here,
right?
back
Antifa.
to order, Miss Green. Go.
He's a
go.
former
All
Antifa
right, Miss
member,
Green, you're
Mr. Chairman.
recognized. You got
no
it.
surprise.
Who's a former
Yours.
Antifa member? Me?
Yeah, you.
I asked that these words be taken down. Yeah.
Starting to love MTG, so I'm going to say that is a no. Now skip. Okay. No skip. Over fucking whelmingly. Not a damn one of you said yes.
No, Miss Green.
Thank you.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion.
Governor
Okay,
Hochul,
Green is
gotta give her
recognized.
the floor.
you stated that you're a proud Democrat, proud registered
All
Democrat.
right, we got to suspend. There's been a parliamentary move. They said they weren't going to do that. What's the?
Just ask her to strike what she said.
Okay. Suspend for 2 minutes. And while we're suspending, we have votes in about 7 minutes. We're going to try to get 3 more questioners in, then we'll break for, I think there are 4 votes, and we'll come back right after the last vote. We don't have that many more questioners, so.
All right. Greg McNeely, what's up? Message retracted. I missed it. And I hate the fact that you understand what that does. Because I want to tell everybody, but my chat would go fucking dark.
So you could move to revise your remarks and say
Let's see if that's the whole thing, though.
You know, people didn't run the math so freely when duels were held in their honor. Yeah. But held for honor. Yeah. I don't know, though. I think Green could take a lot of those motherfuckers. What up, Harley's dad? Yeah. We can speed it up.
my remarks and say that Congressman Frost was arrested at a rally, but not for being a member of a.
What was the mission for? Did he want to post it out? Because with so many people across our country,
So you can say, I move to revise my remarks. Is he really a member of a? Believe those votes.
That mic is on, though.
If that works.
what do I want to do?
Move to revise your remarks and say, Mr. Frost was arrested at a rally, but not as a member of Antifa.
Okay, affiliated permanent demonstration. Mr. Chairman, I move to revise my remarks. Congressman Frost was arrested in 2021 at a voting rights rally.
Okay. Without objection?
Proudly.
Who's the governor's witness on the left wearing the white suit? That is, God damn it. There was something I actually, Fuck it. I mean, there's only been like one or two people to talk to her the entire fucking time. She sat there for absolutely no goddamn reason throughout all of this. I actually, Perryman? Isn't it Perryman? I think it's Perryman.
All right. Chair recognizes Ms. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Hochul, you stated that you're a proud registered Democrat.
Yes, I did. Is that illegal now too in your country?
Oh.
Governor Hochul, this is not a laughing matter. You also stated that you swore an oath to uphold the laws of New York. And one of the laws that you have upheld and proudly kept in place is the executive order signed by former Governor Andrew Cuomo that directs that no state officers or employees, including law enforcement officers, shall disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement unless required by law. And because of your state's policies of paying for flights of illegal aliens, we ended up with Jose Ibarra in our state of Georgia. And, you know, I'm a mother of 3 children, and 2 out of my 3, I have 2 daughters. And you're a mother, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, and I think you've got 2 children, you have 1 daughter, is that right?
That is correct.
And so you and I are both mothers, and there's one mother that I wish could be here today and could talk to you instead of me, and that's Allison Phillips.
Oh, cool.
That's Laken Riley's
sitting
mother.
on the tag.
And we talked about Laken a few minutes ago, and you know, there's a really special bond between mothers and daughters. And we speak with our daughters daily. We speak with our daughters all day long. We speak with our daughters about every single thing that's happening in our lives and every single thing that's happening in their lives. And I want you to know the last time
We
that
are at
Laken
1.25
Riley and her
speed
mother,
now.
Allison Phillips, tried to talk to each other. And that happened to be in the morning when Laken was getting ready to go out and go for her morning jog. And on the morning of her murder, at 8:55 a.m., Riley texted her mother and said, "Good morning, about to go for a run, if you're free to talk." And I can tell you that's something I do with my girls, and they text me, and I'm sure you and your daughter text each other as well. But she didn't get her mother, and then Riley called her mother just a few minutes later at 9:03 a.m. as she was starting to listen to music, but she didn't get her mom on the phone. And the trail cam actually captured her going out for her run at 9:05 a.m. At 9:11, Laken called 911. This was
QAnon. 9/11. She called 911.
just not but a few minutes after she had tried to call her mother. And then at 9:24,
I'm sorry, that was too easy.
Laken received a call from her mother, but it went unanswered. And at 9:28, Laken's heart stopped. And according to the smartwatch, the data of her smartwatch.
I'm just laughing about the QAnon fucking connection with Marjorie Taylor Greene a long time ago with the Jewish space lasers and everything that actually turned out to be correct because they were talking about the Iron Beam. The Iron Dome was a rocket thing. The Iron Beam was the lasers to defend from rockets at strategic points. And if it proved to be effective, why can't we scale it up and put it into satellites? That was actually proposed. She was 100% fucking correct about that.
Watch. Laken fought for her life for 17 minutes. 17 minutes. 17 minutes. This little girl fought for her life as she was being beat in the head
I'm sorry, I'm not
by this
laughing at
monster,
that, but
as she was being strangled by this monster, as she was being almost raped by this monster and drug off into the woods. She fought for her life for 17 minutes, and her mom tried to call during that time. And it was only a few minutes after she had tried to call her mother. And I think as mothers, not politicians, this is something that we should easily share with Allison Phillips. So when we are talking about the laws in place and the policies that we uphold as elected leaders in this country, do you know who we should be thinking about? We should be thinking about our daughters. And the fact that, look, everybody can fight all day long, Democrat, Republican. I got to tell you, though, It's so much bullshit when it comes down to the fact that this little girl fought for 17 minutes of the end of her 22-year-old life. The end of her 22-year-old life. And Governor Hochul, for the love of God, as you are a proud, registered Democrat, I don't know how on earth you can uphold laws that protect and give aid and comfort to monsters, especially one that was arrested in your state and let go because of your policies in your state. And I can't comprehend it, Mr. Chairman, just one more second. Laken Riley and her mother deserve to have one last chat. Like, you know what? Me and you get to have chats with our daughters. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Yield back.
You know what? I finally really fucking understand why Marjorie Taylor Greene took the fucking hit immediately. I understand it 100% perfectly. She's not afraid to sling the shit right back. So she had to be a QAnon nut because of the Jewish space lasers. She fights like a man, and it is off-putting. But she is 100% fucking correct. Who's next?
They've called votes. We're going to try to get 2 more questions in. I'll recognize Mr. Davis from Illinois and then Ms. Luna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank you and the ranking member for...
All right, are we skipping Davis? We got Luna up next.
letting me wave on to this hearing. I want to thank all of the witnesses, all of the governors who've been here and who've been here all day. But I also want to thank you, Governor Pritzker, for the outstanding leadership you have provided to the state of Illinois. Our state is characterized as being progressive and humane. Could you share why we think that's important, you as governor and I as a citizen resident?
Well, we had to do a lot of reform of our state government in order to get there, but it's important to me that we provide health care, that we provide education for all of our people, that we have a policies and a government that take care of particularly those who are most vulnerable in our society, including working families, including the middle class. And it's very important to me that we be known for that. We are a state that is, frankly, cares a great deal about our fellow man. We are a state that is humanitarian in so many ways, and that stands up for the law. And so I'm very proud of our state. We have the greatest state in the country, the land of Lincoln, and we say that proudly because we know that Lincoln would be a Democrat today if he were alive. I'm a big believer in taking his values and promoting those, as well as the values now of today's Illinois, and promoting those. And we've done that. And
all right, what do? We skipping Davis? Skip, you gotta be kidding me. All right, we skipping. I will say this. It is bad.
And from you, we're proud of
Ms. Luna, Florida.
And I yield back.
It is bad. It is bad that we do that. You got Al Green, you got this dude, you got... I get it. You served, man. Get out. What are you doing? Why are you there? I'm going to be honest. He is not effective in any way. He is a throwaway kind of person. And he is thrown the fuck away. But.
Will the gentleman yield? Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida.
Doing it. Y'all heard it. I know overwhelmingly what this is going to be, but putting it on record. It's in the chat. Do we skip?
Point of inquiry, did you skip me in the order on purpose? Just curious.
It must have been an oversight, Mr. Moss.
Well, this is the
Chair
oversight
recognizes
committee,
Ms.
which
Luna.
has lots of oversight.
Gentlemen, please.
Chair recognizes Ms. Luna.
I just, suppressing free speech.
Ms. Luna.
Thank you very
You're
much,
recognized.
Chairman. First and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to educate the American people on what's really happening right now with these riots. So I see right now there's a lot of back and forth and finger pointing, but the fact is that there is a financial tie to these riots, tied to immigration, that actually leads right back to the Communist Chinese Party. Straight up, the LA riots have been organized by an organization dubbed PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, funded by billionaire Chinese activist Neville Singham, who spent parts of his year by living in Shanghai. In addition to that, although he is not a registered foreign agent, he accepts a lot of money from the CCP and then turns around and funnels it right into some of these violent protests that we're seeing. But it doesn't just stop there. This is not the only organized protest that's using brown people and immigrants as a ruse to push their communist and Marxist agenda. Mr. Waltz, thank you for coming in today to testify, or Mr. Walls. Real quick, is it true, yes or no, that you are speaking at the June 14th Twin Cities No King rally?
We're just going to stop right there with it because I already know. I already fucking know. Deluxe, thank you for the 5. Davis sounds like he's trying to keep us cool with this math when he talks. Dude, it's disgusting. It really is. And I'm not talking about just because he's old or anything like that. I'm talking about how the fuck can you use that son of a bitch for that long? You know what I'm saying? Greg says, let it play until first lie, then skip. For Luna?
I can't confirm that right now. That
Okay.
could be true.
Okay. Just so you know, they're advertising you speaking there.
Okay.
The graphic's actually on X right now. I'd be happy to provide it for you, so I'll take that as probably speaking. Is it true also, I know on your campaign, that you had admitted to visiting China anywhere from 15 to 30 times, sir? Yes or no, please?
I did live in China. And
No, visiting, sir, in addition to living there and in addition
Yes,
to having,
that's correct.
All right. Also, too, I'd like to note that during your time in Congress that you filed for a $5 million earmark that actually was secured. $2 million of it went to the Harmel Institute that actually collaborated with the Wuhan Institute. Also, the Department of Homeland Security, sir, just to you, so that you're tracking, actually had an internal memo that was released that stated that the government of China considered you a prime target for influence operations. I'm letting you know that now because I do believe that you should be made aware of, if you are not already, that you are working with and going to be speaking at an organization and rally that not is just funded by Christy Walton, the heiress of Walmart, but also has ties to the Chinese Progressive Association, largely funding it, that actually brags on their website that they are pro-Maoist. Also, too, funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. I know there's a lot of people on this committee that don't like billionaires interfering in politics, but say nothing when George Soros gets over $260 million from USAID through the last administration that's then funneled into some of these nonprofits and organizations. So I guess my question for you guys is, now that I've made you aware that these riots are not about illegals and they're not about immigrants.
You know what? Overriding a bit. This is, y'all have to hear it. No speed manipulation. I'm telling you, she fucking nails it.
Guys, it's Ms. Luna.
Just, suppressing free speech.
Sorry, I'm doing
Thank you
it.
very much, Chairman. First and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to educate the American people on what's really happening right now with these riots. So I see right now there's a lot of back and forth and finger pointing, but the fact is that there is a financial tie to these riots, tied to immigration, that actually leads right back to the Communist Chinese Party. Straight up, the LA riots have been organized by an organization dubbed PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, funded by billionaire Chinese activist Neville Singham, who spends parts of his year by living in Shanghai. In addition to that, although he is not a registered foreign agent, he accepts a lot of money from the CCP and then turns around and funnels it right into some of these violent protests that we're seeing. But it doesn't just stop there. This is not the only organized protest that's using brown people and immigrants as a ruse to push their communist and Marxist agenda. Mr. Waltz, thank you for coming in today to testify, or Mr. Walls. Real quick, is it true, yes or no, that you are speaking at the June 14th Twin Cities No King rally?
I can't confirm that right now. That
Okay.
could be true.
Okay. Just so you know, they're advertising you speaking there.
Okay.
The graphic's actually on X right now. I'd be happy to provide it for you, so I'll take that as probably speaking. Is it true also, I know on your campaign that you had admitted to visiting China anywhere from 15 to 30 times, sir? Yes or no, please?
I did live in China. And
No, visiting, sir, in addition to living there and in addition
yes,
to having, okay.
that's correct.
All right, also too, I'd like to note that during your time in Congress that you filed for a $5 million earmark that actually was secured. $2 million of it went to the Harmel Institute that actually collaborated with the Wuhan Institute. Also, the Department of Homeland Security, sir, just to you, so that you're tracking, actually had an internal memo that was released that stated that the government of China considered you a prime target for influence operations. I'm letting you know that now because I do believe that you should be made aware of, if you are not already, that you are working with and going to be speaking at an organization and rally that not is just funded by Christy Walton, the heiress of Walmart, but also has ties to the Chinese Progressive Association, largely funding it, that actually brags on their website that they are pro-Maoist. Also, too, funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. I know there's a lot of people on this committee that don't like billionaires interfering in politics, but say nothing when George Soros gets over $260 million from USAID through the last administration that's then funneled into some of these nonprofits and organizations. So I guess my question for you guys is, now that I've made you aware that these riots are not about illegals and they're not about immigrants, if they did, they would have been protesting under Barack Obama, who's also dubbed the deporter-in-chief. And frankly, I think many of you would say that Barack Obama was a good president. Are you going to say that Barack Obama wasn't a good president? Yes or no, Governor Walz? Do you think he was a good president?
Do I think Barack Obama was
Correct.
president? I think he did a good job.
Okay, how about you, Governor Pritzker?
I think he did a good job. Yes.
Hochul?
Hochul, and yes, he did do a good job.
Okay, next. Perryman?
I think President Obama did a good job.
So then you would understand that Barack Obama had the very same policies, for the most part, on immigration that Republicans are parroting today, and yet you guys are sitting here saying that we're Gestapo. And what I would tell you is that what happens with open borders is that the real people that are coming here, the ones that are exploited, actually it hurts people on both sides, not just Americans, but the illegals. Some of you had said here to the actual committee that you are doing what you can to assist these people. But what I would say is that your policies aren't actually done from a place of understanding and sympathy. I would say that it's actually doing the exact opposite. And when you use brown people, just like they use black people with BLM and Marxists during BLM to usher that in, when you use brown people and you put Mexican flags with them saying that you stand up for illegal immigrants, but you follow the money and it's going back to the Communist Party, what you're essentially doing is using your platform as elected officials, the trust that the American people have put in you, essentially to usher in communism. You're not actually fighting for American values. Don't roll your eyes, because it's a serious topic and that's where the money's coming from. So now I'm informing you, so now you guys can make your decisions, but please be informed, sir, Mr. Walz, that if you truly do uphold the American ideologies and perspectives on the Constitution, you should not be speaking at that rally. I've given you the correct information, and as of right now, I've authorized a letter to be sent to my office to the President of the United States to rescind millions of dollars in funding that we know are going to the No Kings protests that were authorized and basically given under the last administration. That is what Congress is supposed to do, not point fingers, not blame people, but actually ensure that the American people are protected and not fighting for foreign interests, foreign governments, and also the communist.
Will the gentlelady yield for a question?
No.
You don't want to tell us what your evidence is of all
Yes,
this connections?
actually, no, I will yield.
You know,
that.
I appreciate
So,
Mr. Goldman,
wait,
you'll get
I
5
will-
minutes Take your
let
word
me answer
for
the
it,
question.
but
Let me
you'll
answer the question.
appreciate we might want actual evidence.
I would be happy to provide that, and I'd also be happy to inform Chairman that actually we have a letter of which you can sign on to. I know you like to sign on to letters with us, especially on the Epstein stuff. But we actually have a letter going out to Neville Singham on Friday, and it's actually signed by every single member of Oversight. I'd like to extend that to you because that letter is calling him to testify, and it's also calling for his financial transactions. And do you agree, sir, that we should not be accepting money from the Communist Chinese Party? I think anyone on this platform would agree that that should not be accepted, correct?
I would like for you to actually present evidence rather than just, quote, inform the witnesses. And now that they're informed, they should assume
look, I
what
don't
you
disrespect
say is
you. I'm
true
going to answer your question.
when it
We are
is
having a hearing on it where we
debunked.
can
It's
present
the
all the
right-wing
evidence.
ecosphere.
No, but let's have this
Yeah,
dialogue.
go ahead. You're recognized, Ms. Luna.
We are going to be having a hearing, and you can gavel on to the hearing. I'd appreciate you to do it because the fact is that the Democrat Party, remember,
Is it going to be as good as the Biden impeachment hearing?
Mr. Goldman, you'll have 5 minutes in a moment.
Let's focus real quick.
Well, Mr.
I'd
Chairman,
like to
she's
go
out of
a step
time. I just think
further.
you're trying not to let me talk.
Guys, if you guys want to talk about it, I'll answer the question. But Mr. Singham is also funding Code Pink through his wife.
You know, it's my turn.
Can we
ask Elon to divest from China while we're at it?
The lady's time's expired. The lady's time's
We'll
expired.
be having the hearing. Y'all are invited.
There
We
you
might
go.
have you guys
All right.
back.
Thank you. Before we go.
There ain't no motherfucking way in hell you're going to sit there and tell me you want to get rid of that woman simply because she said she gave birth and you blocked her from voting so she could recover. Every bit of what she's saying is now coming out. It does have ties back to China with this LA shit. And the fact that they defended it so fucking fervently from the very beginning. Where's your evidence? What's this? What's this? What's this? If you watch it back, no. What up? Where is it? Look at AOC. Right here, next to Goldman. As she was talking, AOC was staring that bitch down. You gonna sit there and tell me you're gonna get rid of that woman simply because she gave birth? And she was just asking, hey, can I vote proxy if I give birth? Fuck you, Republican Party, because that bitch is awesome.
Congressman Richie Torres to Governor Hochul, speaking specifically about that the Penn Station Center.
Oh, wait. I went too far, but y'all know who's next. Oh, wait, no.
Time's expired. The ladies' time's expired.
We're
going to recess soon.
We might have you guys back.
Thank you. Before we go to votes, which have been called, I'm going to recognize Mr. Donalds for unanimous consent.
Mr. Chairman, I want to submit a letter into the record from Congressman
That's who
Richie
we're
Torres
watching.
to Governor Hochul, speaking specifically about
Jennifer, that's who we're watching in the corner.
that the Penn Station Center is actually being led by MTA, where the chairman is actually appointed by the governor of New York, and the cost overruns are $7 billion.
Without objection, so ordered. And again, the witnesses, I apologize. The votes were supposed to be at 4 o'clock when we scheduled this. They've been moved to 3. We have 4 or 5 votes. We'll come back here as soon as the votes are the last vote. So pursuant to the previous order, the committee will recess for floor votes. The committee will return 5 minutes after the last vote. There are only 7 or 8 more questioners, so the committee stands in recess.
All right. Jonah, if she keeps up like that. Look, I fucking love Tulsi.
And
hold on. I fucking love Tulsi. I have loved that woman since like way before I even realized what the fuck was going on, but she always, everything she said, I can't find a flaw in it other than her own way of thinking in things. So why should I not listen to a woman who is technically and literally never lied? You can spin it however you want to, but everything she said actually turned out to be, well, not everything, but most of what she said turned out to be 100% true, including the biolabs in Ukraine. If Luna keeps this the fuck up, okay, I'm behind it. I'm not going to lie because she's a badass woman. I'm telling you, the Republican Party wears their fucking balls on their goddamn chest right now. And if y'all don't fucking just push these motherfuckers even further, y'all are fucking yourselves up. There are some good Republican men. But what you got? Jim Jordan? James Comer? Didn't they let Hunter Biden go? After spitting in your face, watching live how they literally committed contempt of Congress twice. And they said we can make it all go away if you just come in and talk to us. Jim Jordan and James Comer did that shit to you with Hunter Biden. Twice he spat in your fucking face. But Steve Bannon went to prison. There were so many others that went to prison for that shit.
The chair recognizes.
What? At least 2 or 3 others that I can name.
And I appreciate the witnesses' indulgence here. Again, we were told the votes would be at 4:15 and they were at 3 o'clock, so I apologize. We had 2 more votes than we were supposed to. So the chair recognizes Mr. Burleson from Missouri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just still kind of trying to understand.
I clicked on somebody's name. Hold on.
Between
my bad. I clicked on Teresa Red's name on Rumble. But you know I got to do it. I think this is how you spell it. I'm not too sure. But are we skipping Burleson or no?
As we had 2 more votes than we were supposed to. So the chair recognizes Mr. Burleson from Missouri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just still kind of trying to understand the connection between our ICE officers and the Gestapo. I think the statement was horrific. The acting ICE director had this to say: on the final day of National Police Week, when those brave enough to put on a badge and a uniform to mourn their fallen brothers and sisters, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz referred to my professional, hardworking ICE agents and officers as a modern-day Gestapo. This is abhorrent, dehumanizing, and ignorant comments should not be tolerated. It seems that Mr. Walz prefers violent criminal aliens are released into Minnesota's communities.
RP.
If the governor doesn't like the laws, he's free to advocate that Congress change them. But he should refrain from putting ICE officers in danger by likening them to one of the most appalling groups in history. Assaults against ICE officers are up over 400% from this time last period. And part of that is because politicians like Governor Walz are careless with their politically motivated rhetoric. He should issue an immediate apology to the men and women.
I thought he was actually going to time that completely. Skip Burleson. Okay. That's overwhelmingly. I can't.
Policies.
Well, Minnesota ranks first.
Shit. I fucked up. Y'all knew who's next. Eli Crane. Let me roll it the fuck back. Why? Why, YouTube? You're a dick. Okay, here we go.
Even for illegal aliens convicted of serious crimes like assault or sexual offenses. The ICE data shows that 56,791 illegal aliens booked for serious offenses in 2025 alone, including over 3,000 for sex crimes. And that's why
Time
we're here
starts
today.
when Crane talks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes Mr. Crane from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Walz, you stated in your opening statement the following: but nothing Minnesota has done stands in the way of federal government managing its border security policies.
Okay.
Governor, I want to ask you, why are you lying to this committee?
I am not.
Who's the top law enforcement officer in the state of Minnesota?
The top law enforcement officer? Attorney General.
Yeah, that's right. What's his name? What's his name?
Are you asking me, do you know his name?
Do you know his name? Do you know his name?
I know the I know the AG, AG Ellison.
This is an article right here I'd like to submit for the record. Minnesota AG says will not enforce federal immigration laws as DOJ threatens to prosecute officials who resist.
Without objection, so ordered.
Why are you lying to this committee? That is the top law enforcement officer in your state who's saying he will not comply with the federal government.
Nothing in his opinion changes the fact that state
Do we script Crane? Nothing to remember? No. All right. Let's go.
law requires all state and county officials to ask for immigration status when a convicted felon.
No, I'm sorry, Governor. He is saying he will not comply with federal laws. That's your top law
nothing in this
enforcement
opinion
officer.
changes how
You're
he-
lying and misrepresenting yourself to this committee. Now I want to ask you this. Do you think in that line of questioning, free health care, food assistance, free college tuition, driver's licenses, and cash assistance, do you think that that's helping or hurting this government manage its border security and policies?
Well, Minnesota ranks first in health care. We rank third in safety on our roads.
Let me answer that for you. It's actually hurting because what you
making my state
created
safer
is
and more
you've created a state that is now a magnet that is drawing illegals
There's no sanctuary
to
law in
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Congress.
I know you guys haven't put it that way on the books, but your state has everything, every element in it that is consistent with the sanctuary state.
That's
Moving
incorrect.
on, Mr. Walsh. How about you calling ICE agents modern-day Gestapo? That also stands. Do you think that that helps our federal government carry out its law enforcement?
I think best
border
practices in law
security
enforcement
policies?
by identifying who you are, identifying the vehicles, and making sure everyone has due process helps our law enforcement. I think covering your faces.
So you think that
Nah. I'm overriding that shit, Ken. There ain't no goddamn way you're gonna put bubbles on Tim. Now, not Trailer Park Boys. If anybody, you're gonna put it on Burleson. Because Bubbles was smart as fuck. That motherfucker tried to keep them out of jail. Everything that they did, he knew they were doing some fucked up shit, but he rode anyway and still tried to keep their ass out of jail every step of the fucking way. No. There is no way you will besmirch Bubbles' name in that shit. No.
that helps calling our law enforcement agents. That,
Grandma
what
messed
does
up
I
on me.
stand
Let
for,
him
Governor?
donate again. God damn.
Immigration, custom, enforcement, right?
Are you
These are the
laundering
guys
money?
that are tasked with enforcing immigration, federal immigration law.
Are you part of some Russian propaganda shit, Jennifer?
Gestapo is helping. You're not standing in the way. None of the messaging, none of the rhetoric is standing in the way of this administration doing what they've been tasked to do. Is that what you're saying?
I think what would help them is to follow due process, and when they do these missions, do the things that we expect of law enforcement.
How about when you
Identify-
went on Anderson Cooper, Governor Walsh, and you said, how high is this wall? If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in a 30-foot ladder factory. Do you think that that helps our federal government carry out its law enforcement, its border security and policy operations?
When did I say that?
You went on Anderson Cooper and said that. Do you not remember saying that? Because you've said so many outlandish things that you
No, I
can't
don't
even
recall.
keep track of them.
The point being is
The
that you
clip
need
is there
more
for everybody. It's there for all Americans. If you guys want to go watch it, it's an easy Google. All right, Governor, you recently went on Gavin Newsom's podcast. You stated in regards to MAGA voters, I scare them a little bit, which is why they spend so much time on me. No, I'm serious because they know I can fix a truck. That's your direct quote. You also said on the show, I think I could kick most of their asses. I want to be very clear with you, Governor. You do scare us a bit. But it's not because you can fix a truck or change a tire. It's actually because of your radical left-wing agenda. You supported putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. You advocated for the disarming of Americans of their Second Amendment rights. You're pro-sanctuary city, as we have uncovered here today. You claim there is no guarantee to free speech when it comes to misinformation and hate speech. That right there is why the American people have such a hard time with you. It's not because we're crazy MAGA people. It's because of your radical left-wing agenda. I want to ask you on that last one where you claim there's no guarantee to free speech. Did you pick that up on one of your 30 trips to communist China, Governor? That sounds a lot like something that they would do. Yes or no?
So I don't believe hate speech has a place in there. hate speech that incites violence.
Governor Walz, you said that Kamala Harris picked you for vice president to code talk to white guys. How did that work out for this administration? How well did you do with white guys?
I don't have the.
You lost by 22 points to white guys. And it's because you talk like the way you do, you say the things you do, and you have this radical left-wing ideology. So if you want to continue that rhetoric, go on, brother. Keep doing it. We'll keep destroying you in elections.
And
Thank you, and I yield back.
The people of Minnesota will continue to have me serve them.
Ladies, we getting some nipple drag right there. Y'all know how that goes. It's just sagging a little bit. All right. God damn, Eli Crane knocked that out the fucking park. I'm glad. I'm actually glad. That was actually one I might have overridden. But I was pretty safe with this audience that I wouldn't.
Chair recognizes Mr. Ramirez from Illinois.
I know. But we have to have it on record. I don't even care if it's wrong.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to start by acknowledging Governor Pritzker from our great state of Illinois
Okay,
and
I'm
thank him
taking
for
full
coming before
video.
the committee, especially given the deeply unserious nature of this hearing. I want to start by asking Governor Pritzker a few questions. Governor, you have said that actions that bring all branches of government to stand in respect of one another underpin the guardrails of democracy. Is it your assessment that this administration's actions reflect the commitment to stand in respect of all branches of government or honor the guardrails of our democracy?
Thank you very much, Congresswoman, and it's good to see you. This administration has ignored court orders. This administration has ignored the laws that have been passed by the Congress. This administration is, in many ways, telling its agencies not to follow what the laws and the regulations that have been on the books. And this administration has been going after people individually and as groups that they believe are opponents of theirs, political opponents of theirs. That is not the way that a president ought to operate. We ought to have a president who follows the rule of law and doesn't break it.
Thank you, Governor. I agree with you. In your 2025 budget address, you noted that our state, the state of Illinois, is among the best in the nation for workforce talent, clean energy, education.
Fuck it. One. What? Oh. Holy shit. By one vote. Rumble. Rumble upset the fucking YouTube chat. We skipped this bitch. Are we? Oh, there's something Lynch is out ordering in. We got to hear the at least the end of this, but I think it's
That's
gold
what they're
the
doing
next.
here. This hearing is a witch hunt against the governors that run successful cities, and we need to call it what it is. What we need here right now is Secretary Noem answering questions and oversight why the hell she thinks that what happened to the senator is acceptable. With that, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Hopefully you'll get to see the beginning of that tape when he approached the podium where the secretary was. You hadn't seen
To
that
ask a
yet?
question. Mr. Chairman, on the full statement of the committee on the Democratic side, Senator Padilla is currently in Los Angeles exercising his duty to perform congressional oversight of the federal government operations in Los Angeles and across California. He was in the Wilshire Federal Building to receive a briefing with General Guillot and was listening to Secretary Noem's press conference. He tried to ask the secretary a question and was forcibly removed by federal agents, forced to the ground, as you saw, and handcuffed. He is not currently detained, and we are working to get additional information. And while we respect the Senate's ability to review this as a primary investigation, we also echo Ms. Ramirez.
Yeah. Hold up. Overriding for a second here. Above the chat. I know it's racially profiled. I know it is. But haven't we been talking about the People's Republic of China? That's not Chinese, I know it. But let's play into that stereotype. I'm just gonna be that dick.
There's a statement that we would like to have an investigation of that incident here from beginning to end.
Have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
You want to enter that into the record?
Process the
All right,
freeze
without objection,
dryer
so
with
ordered.
Miss the next night.
Now, Chair
Take it easy.
recognizes
Thank you for the 5.
Mr. Jack.
We gonna have fun.
Mr. Jack. Okay, wait a minute. Wait, we did 2 Republicans, so we're going to go to Mr. Goldman.
Mr. Goldman. Are we skipping?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would urge you to reserve comment on what happened to Mr. Padilla until you get full information. In fact, I would urge all of my Republican colleagues to take a breath before you once again desperately run to bend the knee to Donald Trump and to Kristi Noem. Because anyone with 2 eyes that can see that that was authoritarian, lawless behavior that no person in America, much less a senator, could.
Pause time. He ran for 25 seconds.
Guys, ready? And bell. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your. I also want to hands off. How many of our ICE agents have been docked?
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands, go ahead. Stand behind my back. All right. Cool.
Other hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I do not know. There's no recording allowed out here per FBI, right?
Look, I want to say this. Well, fucking done. Motherfucker wanted to walk in slinging his fucking dick. If he did that, she backed down. She looked fucking weak. But if he were arrested, oh, now we look like fascists. Yet if the roles were reversed, now we're conspiracy theorists. I mean, make fucking sense to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand this shit. Other than the fact that it's a whatever situation. This motherfucker's got 35 seconds. And
Conducting constitutional oversight should have received. And I know it's hard for all of you to speak up against Donald Trump, and that's why we're here at this hearing talking all about Joe Biden. Talking all about Joe Biden's policy this, Joe Biden's policy that, all these people who committed crimes under Joe Biden. Is it just because you're consistently trying to ignore the fact that Joe Biden is not president? Donald Trump is president.
I cut him 5 seconds short. Fuck it. Perfect ending. 60. There are some contrarians in the chat. I like it. The 62%, there ain't no way. The suck ass dude. That is a negative. No, I know what you mean. Don't you have a fire alarm to pull? No, that's That's Jamal Bowman. We skipping. Who the fuck? McGuire? I might have missed this one. Hitting it up in the chat. Let's go. Let me find his beginning.
This is yes or no. Governor, this is
States is counted.
the census. Each witness one at a time. If you break the law, are you a criminal?
I'll give him 10.
Can you guys answer that quickly? We don't have much time.
In certain circumstances, many
The answer
circumstances,
should
yes.
be yes. If you come across our border illegally, breaking our law to come across, are you a criminal? Yes.
If you
or no?
speed, are you a criminal? I mean,
Break the law, that's a crime.
Okay.
So if you
Call
come
them a
across our
criminal.
border illegally, you're a criminal. Just want to see if we can
God
get that
damn,
straight.
no. Hold on. I feel like I'm robbing this motherfucker. That's let's.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a yes
Okay.
or no question, hopefully fast because I don't have much time. So each witness one at a time. If you break the law, are you a criminal? Can you guys answer that quickly? We don't have much time.
In certain circumstances, many
The answer
circumstances,
should
yes.
be yes. If you come across our border illegally, breaking our law to come across, are you a criminal? Yes.
If you
or no?
speed, are you a criminal? I mean,
Break the
that's
law, that's a crime.
okay.
So if you
Call
come
them a
across our
criminal.
border illegally, you're a criminal. Just want to see if we can get that straight. All right, Governor Pritzker, are illegal aliens counted in the U.S. Census?
Every person in the United States is counted.
The census decides how many members each state gets in the U.S. House of Representatives. Year after year, tens of thousands of U.S. Citizens are fleeing the state of Illinois. It ranks only behind Governor Hochul's New York and Governor Newsom's California. You all are protecting and harboring illegal aliens for political purposes. Governor Pritzker,
Oh. Paul, he should be arrested. Who? Who should be arrested? Because you already knocked out Hochul. Nothing on the Rumble side with it. Okay, so 50-50. All right, we gonna have to let it fucking play.
would you support prohibiting illegal aliens from being counted in the census, yes or no?
Your numbers are wrong, sir.
Would you, yes or no?
Your numbers are wrong, sir.
Would you
Constitution says
support
how you
prohibiting
count the
illegal
census.
aliens from being counted in the census? Would you? Or is harboring illegal aliens part of the strategy to get more Democrats in Congress? The bottom line is this: all illegal aliens have committed a crime and should be deported. Any additional act of violence committed by an illegal alien is entirely preventable. All sanctuary jurisdictions are unlawful. Each of you are breaking the law. And my message to you, or the message from the people, is you need to get it straight. Governor Walz, just over 3 weeks ago, you compared ICE agents to Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo. Governor, do you regret those comments?
I regret that law enforcement is not following best practices, showing who they are, not taking people off the street, not giving due process.
We
It
would
puts
not
all
have
of
a
us at
country
risk.
without our men and women in law enforcement. Yes
That's
or no?
correct,
Did
and
you
those
know
who
ICE
show their
officers
faces.
are did you know ICE officers are facing 413% increase in assaults?
Don't wear the masks, identify yourself, and work with local law enforcement.
You guys are doxing them. All right, your attacks on ICE officers are putting our law enforcement in deadly situations. It led to destructive riots breaking out in Los Angeles last weekend. President Trump had no choice but to step up and stop Los Angeles from burning buildings to the ground. Did you see videos of rioters throwing rocks through the windows of police officers' vehicles while they were driving on the highway? Did you guys see that? We wouldn't have a country without our men and women in law enforcement. In 2023, you signed legislation to expand eligibility to illegal aliens for taxpayer-funded health care.
That's why what's
Minnesota
happening in the
driver's
corner
license,
is
and
happening.
free college tuition. America Last policies. Let's take a look at some of the illegal aliens you so boldly want to support with taxpayer funds. I'll probably say his name wrong, but Abashad Alimi, illegal alien from Somalia, criminal history includes convictions of murder, DUI, and disorderly conduct. Eric Martinez Mondragon, illegal alien from Mexico and known member of 18th Street Gang. He served time in robbery and possession of a firearm. And Marco Granda, illegal alien from Ecuador, he was convicted for criminal sexual conduct of a child. The taxpayer-funded incentives you are providing in Minnesota bring in vicious thugs who are robbing, raping, and killing your citizens. And American people are tired of these America Last Marxist policies. We need more patriotism. You know, when I look at a MAGA, to me it means make America great again for all Americans, regardless of party, race, religion, or creed. America first, and that's why we won the presidency and we got the Senate and the House. If you had a basketball team and you hate your basketball team, you will never win. And we have a heart and love all people of the world, but if we can't take care of our country, if we're allowing these illegal criminal aliens to rob, rape, and kill the American people, that is wrong. And that's why we won, and if you guys keep that up, we'll keep winning.
Congressman, can I respond to the two cases in Minnesota? I think it's important to the hearing we're having. You want to know what we're doing. Mr. Alami was held in Freeborn County Jail. Straight resource.
Governor
paid for
Hochul,
that.
Debrina Quam fell asleep on a subway in New York. While she was asleep on a train, she was set on fire and killed by an illegal alien from Guatemala. This could have been prevented. And what upsets me or strikes me the most is that in Democrat-run cities, people are so desensitized by the violence and the policies that people just stood by and watched that happen.
Why do we get Easter Island vibes with this motherfucker?
What can we do better?
The entire situation sickens me to know that that happened in our state. I abhor all crimes, and that one was particularly heinous. And that's why my law enforcement are dedicated to keeping the streets, subways, and communities of our state safe.
I got to do it, Teresa. The Social Security Administration.gov. To search for HAVV. These are motherfuckers that are registering with the last four digits of their Social Security number and last name, broken down by state. Does some do weekly? Does some do bi-weekly? Does some do monthly? There is a huge gap. Once this was actually discovered, there is a huge gap. Let's just bring it to week ending June 7th of 2025. In my state, Alabama, 1,161 motherfuckers tried to register with the last four digits of their Social Security number and last name. Out of that, 370 did not match up. Out of the 791 that did, 230 were dead. Arizona. Again. 78,369. These are the latest numbers. Total non-matches, 5,373. Total matches out of the 72,996. 371 were dead. That's a better record, but why the fuck are 371 fucking dead people trying to register to vote? Chat's in the way. Look at those numbers. Last four digits of the Social Security number and last name. Illinois. 12,385. Out of that, 228 were dead. 1,644 did not know the last four digits of their social security number or their last name. Out of Maryland, 6,362. 6,235 did not know the last four digits of their social security number or the last name. And out of that, only 127 were single match. What the fuck just happened in Maryland? Again, look at Missouri. 961 did not match up. You're going to tell me, well, look, I understand that the average median of the United States IQ is roughly around 100, but you're going to tell me this many people don't know their own identification? Make this make sense. It still doesn't.
It's my number one priority. It's how I've invested enormous amounts of resources. And just for the record.
Oh, you want to do New York? Hold on. I saw that. New York, 5,022. Come on, 5,022 in that area? This shit's already starting to heat up in New York. Come on. Out of that, 952 didn't know their shit. 3 of them that did know their shit were dead. They've systematically dwindled the shit down. Now, I don't know if it's in their favor or it's kind of like an inefficiency, clean up the fucking voter registration rolls. I don't know. But it's fucking weird.
We do cooperate in criminal identification, prosecution, and removal of individuals who commit crimes who are not in this country legally. We want them deported. We cooperate with ICE every day of the week to make our streets safer. I'm not sure why that's not breaking through in this hearing. How many times can we say that? We're not supporting this. We don't want these individuals here. We abhor this violence and crime. So that's the message to be the takeaway. How can we work together? How can you do your job and help us secure the border and have more legal pathways for people who want to be here legally and contribute to our economy, but not the criminals. We are not a sanctuary for any criminals.
Yield back.
Gentleman, time's expired. Now, Chair recognizes Ms. Morrison from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr.
Taking a poll. Are we skipping Morrison?
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank the witnesses for being here today, especially you, Governor Walz. It's great to see you as ever. Welcome back to the People's House. Thank you for your distinguished service in the National Guard, 24 years, I believe. Thank you for your service here in Congress and as our governor. I'm sorry you haven't received the warmest welcome here today, but I'd like to start by taking a moment to correct the record on a few points. I think all of us here would agree that violent criminals who aren't citizens shouldn't be in this country, full stop. But that's not what this hearing is about. This hearing is about intimidation and striking fear in immigrant communities. This hearing, unfortunately, is not about moving forward with the comprehensive immigration reform our country so desperately needs. It's about distracting the American people from the disaster that has been the first few months of the Trump administration and his Republican majority in Congress. Much like our state, my congressional district is diverse. I represent many immigrant families who call our community home, and we welcome them because they make our community stronger. I recently had the honor of attending a naturalization ceremony where we welcomed new Americans.
Let's count Rumble first. Skip. Okay, 1, Adding to the YouTube. Yeah. Okay. That was actually kind of close. Are y'all actually choosing no because you've never heard these people yet? Great freeze frame. Y'all know what I'm doing then. Let's track it back.
And the of lawless. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair recognizes Ms. Bobert from Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Los Angeles riots are certainly a shameful explosion of lawlessness that we are once again seeing. The narrative has changed in these riots, but it's certainly the same type of actors. We're seeing businesses torched, cars torched, families uprooted, certainly communities that are scared. And this is by no means a peaceful protests. It is absolute chaos, and rioters don't get a free pass to burn down cities just simply because they're mad, because they are mad that our nation's laws are being upheld, that our federal agents are upholding their oath and doing what they were hired to do. Our first responders deserve respect. They do not deserve to have rocks thrown at them and to be injured. But, I mean, let's be honest, this violence didn't really spark in a vacuum. Sanctuary policies are a magnet for trouble. They shield criminals, undermine the rule of law. And, governors, I've sat here and I've heard you today. You say that safety is your #1 priority. You want your communities safe. You want your people safe. And Governor Hochul, you just asked, how can we work together to ensure that that happens? Well, that's exactly what we want to do in this hearing. We want to work together. We want to talk to you about your sanctuary policies that are actually preventing us from working with you to keep your community safe, because we want them safe as well. I have the same policies in Colorado that restrict our local law enforcement officers.
I took that a little longer. Jonah. Don't skip over. What up, Sober? You got voting rights tonight. You're going to have to hit up that chat on the Rumble side, brother. But I took that a little longer for a reason. Okay. 33-66. That was an even split there. Okay, you said no. But I want to ask you a question. As you listen, tell me what she brings to the table. Other than being a good-looking woman. Look away, men. Look away, women. There's no substance to this.
From coordinating with federal agents. And some of my counties have issued lawsuits to try to end that. But this is serious, and we owe it to every American to restore safety and enforce our laws. It's been stated that this is a federal law, and it's not your job to uphold the federal law. Well, we're not asking you to uphold it. We're just asking you to kind of step out of the way and allow the federal government to do the job to uphold these laws. When you have someone, don't wait until they commit a violent, heinous crime before we know their immigration status. So now we're seeing these riots everywhere. We've heard in 2020 that everything was mostly peaceful as cities burned down, as people lost their lives, as law enforcement officers lost their lives. So I just want to ask you three governors, yes or no, is the destruction of private and governmental property, is that something that fits under your definition of a peaceful protest? Governor Walz, yes or no?
No, it does not.
Thank you. Governor Pritzker?
I find it hard to believe that you're lecturing us
Yes or
about
no?
peaceful protest. Look at what
Yes or
happened
no?
January 6th here at the Capitol.
No, what we're
The
seeing in
attack
LA
on
is
our
an
democracy.
insurrection. You want
I will always say, if you want to call what happened on January 6th, when it looks overwhelmingly like the government set that shit up to make Orange Man look bad and do all this shit, set all this shit in motion with all this, if you're going to literally sit there and say that was an insurrection, I'm sorry. May 29th, 2020 was treason. Because that was set up as well.
to talk about
That
an
is an
insurrection? This is an
insurrection.
absolute insurrection.
You don't
They are-
understand what insurrection
I
is
asked
when
you a
people are
yes or
trying to
no
overturn
question,
an
sir.
election
And I'm
here
showing,
at the Congress.
I started this off
You
showing
were
you
here.
the
They were
forum, and I would
attacking you, by
respect
the way.
the same. I would expect the same.
I'm answering your question. It is outrageous that you are asking
is
us
it
these
peaceful
questions
to
when
just
you're the one condoning
to destroy
pardoning of people who attack
private and
police
government property
right here at our
Governor
Capitol.
Governor Hochul, it's been a long day. Does that fit under?
RP. She is a strong supporter of the core components of the Bill of Rights and Constitution. She stood by that from the start, yes. But the question is, does she rally you? And why?
Under your definition of a peaceful protest, the destruction of private and government property.
What up,
No,
Lenny?
and we feel for the business owners and the community
Justy,
for
how you
what's
doing?
going on there.
So
but
do we.
This is a
Yes
narrow
or no?
scope of
Would-
people, and the
Would
vast
lighting
majority are
police
peaceful.
cars on fire fit under the definition of a peaceful protest?
No, we reject that. No one should be lighting police
Governor
cars
Pritzker,
on
yes or
fire.
no?
I'm opposed to violence in any form. Yes.
Governor Walz.
Yeah, we reject that.
Okay. Throwing bricks or large rocks at police officers? Is that peaceful?
It is not.
Is that peaceful, Governor?
Whether it's in Los Angeles or here in Washington at the Capitol, no.
Yeah, that didn't happen here. Governor Hochul?
Rejected.
It actually did, but no, it's not acceptable.
Okay. Governor Pritzker, you have you or have you not called for mass protests and mobilization and disruption?
Indeed, microphones, megaphones, and going to the ballot box.
Well, they're responding in a much different way, are they not? President Trump also asked for people
protest is
to
the history of this
peacefully
country.
make their voices heard. So it's okay for you to say that and hold that standard, but President Trump has a different standard when he actually makes the claim.
Inciting riots at
and
the
you
Capitol?
said you
Yes,
want
there
mass
is a difference
protests,
between the two.
mobilizations, and disruption as a response to President Trump's policies. I just think that this is all hypocritical. You've called in your National Guard. You don't want President Trump to come in and enforce the rule of law to keep communities safe, and your destructive policies are harming American citizens. We should not have to wait until violence is committed to find out their legal status. We have 2 million unknown gotaways because of Joe Biden's administration, and we have got to find them and get them out of America. And I thank President Trump and his administration for doing just that. I yield.
Here's the thing. Here's why I don't like her. She could be a diamond in the rough situation. Not gonna lie. That was performative. There was no reaction. She just powered through. And just because she held that seat, she knew her voice would be the center of attention other than whatever pushback. I'm sorry. I get it. She is correct with what she says. But she just gets nothing from me. I don't like her. I don't dislike her. I just Why are you there?
Gentlelady yields. Chair recognizes Mr. Craig from Minnesota.
I mean, she's a
Chairman, thank you
sweet
so
ass
much for
girl.
allowing
Don't
me
get
to
me
wave on to
wrong.
this committee today.
Just Peace girl. She's a sweet ass woman. Don't get me wrong. But that ain't the place for this. That ain't the place for this. Not on this stage. And I do get the whole little scandal and everything that she had. I don't care. Okay, you want to take dick? Cool. Do it. I don't give a fuck. Why should I give a shit? Oh, yeah. You giving handies in a fucking theater? Who hasn't done that? Oh, just because the camera was framed right on that situation? Eh. It is a little bit weird that they were center fucking frame, was it not?
I think if I were a permanent member, I'd have a permanent headache.
Well, you won't have to worry about it. But go
Governor
ahead.
Walz, it is so
After
good to see you
changing
today. Let me start by saying that we
After changing
should
district.
all be against chaos. We've all are for a safe and secure border and an order.
Just Peace girl. Some of the other ones that I've literally just been like balls on the chest are just the same. I think her follow-up was the fact that she actually did take a hit with that theater video. She took a huge hit back at home. That's why she changed district. And she won again.
Orderly immigration system. What we're seeing now, though, is chaos out of the current administration.
Oh, wait. Fuck. There was a new one here. Miss Craig. I mean, that's the whole Boebert scandal, really in a nutshell. Just like overlooking the entire thing. Okay, so they were mid fucking frame and a camera that was already set up with night vision looking straight at him as she was supposedly giving the dude a hand job. Nah. Is it uncouth? Fuck yeah. Who ain't done it?
Allowing me to wave on to this committee today. I think if I were a permanent member, I'd have a permanent headache.
Well, you won't have to worry about it. But
Governor
go ahead.
Walz, it is so good to see you today. Let me start by saying that we should all be against chaos. We've all are for a safe and secure border and an orderly immigration system. What we're seeing now, though, is chaos out of the current administration with their blatant disregard for due process and their indiscriminate immigration executive orders. In fact, the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security had to take down its posted sanctuary jurisdictions list because it created mass confusion in Minnesota for local officials and was opposed by local law enforcement. And so, Governor Walz, let me just start, just so we know the record is correct. I didn't think Minnesota was a sanctuary state. Is Minnesota a sanctuary state, Governor?
We are not. The legislature has passed no such law, and I have signed no such law, and we follow all federal law.
Thank you, sir. That list included 20 counties when it came out across Minnesota without any rhyme or reason, including LeSueur County, which I represent. I've inquired into why they are listed from
Fair point, RP. I've never given a dude a hand job, too. So what I'm saying, who doesn't? I guess me and you. In this poll, what are we doing? Skip. All right, we definitely skipping. Looks like Ms. Miller's next. Leave that face up while I start the poll. That helps her chances. Absolutely goddamn none. Do we skip Ms. Miller?
Pain of over annoyance. Thank you, Chairman. Governor Pritzker, Illinois is at a crisis point. Illegal aliens in our state have overwhelmed local communities and schools, causing untold pain and suffering while costing the Illinois taxpayers billions.
Motherfucker.
Governor, in a recent report by Capital News of Illinois, you called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit the Capital News of Illinois report titled Trump's 100 Days. Pritzker calls for mass mobilization as he grows his national profile.
Without objection, so ordered.
Governor, before we go any further, will you commit today to working with the Trump administration and ICE to ensure that the violence we've seen in Los Angeles does not occur in Chicago or anywhere else in our state? Yes or no?
Thank you, Congresswoman Miller. We work every day with the federal government
Yes
to
or
keep
no,
our
sir?
streets safe.
Will you commit to working with the
We
Trump
do
administration?
all the time work with the federal government, law enforcement,
Okay, I'm
constantly.
taking that as a yes. Governor, you said earlier this afternoon
Okay. That's definitely a no. Let's keep going.
that you were willing to, and I quote,
He's a
stand in
bitch
the
and a
way of
Rosie
Tom
O'Donnell
Holman,
body.
end quote, who, I would like to note, is carrying out federal law. I have before me numerous examples of illegal alien violence in Illinois, but I want to highlight the story of Joe Abraham, whose daughter was tragically murdered by an illegal alien in central Illinois. Under your watch, sir. I will now read his account. Hello.
Welcome,
My
Teresa.
name is Joe
That
Abraham.
was awesome.
I am the father of 3, and Katie was my youngest. Katie had a beautiful soul, a sharp wit, and a huge personality. She loved life, and she lived it with authenticity, humor, and heart. She was the kind of person who succeeded at anything she put her mind to. She had a future full of promise. She was everything to our family. In the early hours of Sunday, January 19th, Katie was riding in a Honda Civic with 4 friends. They were stopped at a red light when their car was struck from behind by an SUV traveling 78 miles per hour. The driver didn't brake, he didn't swerve, he just slammed into them. The driver had previously been deported and was in the country illegally using an alias. He was allegedly intoxicated. After the crash, he fled the scene on foot without calling 911, without offering any help to the 5 women he had just hit. Katie died at the scene. Another young woman passed away the next day at the hospital. Instead of staying to face what he had done, the driver fled Urbana, made his way to Chicago, and then boarded a bus headed to Mexico. Thankfully, he was captured before fleeing the country. We share Katie's story, not just to honor her memory, but to raise awareness and to seek justice. No
There ain't no
family
way
should
that's
have to
her.
endure this type of loss. Sir, the family is here. The father is here. Would you like to apologize to Katie's family? Feel free to direct your comments to me.
I am very sorry for their loss. I really am.
I can only imagine what other instances have taken place but have not been reported. You have stated that Illinois will not allow local police departments to assist ICE as they work to address the illegal immigration crisis that you helped to create. In light of the crimes that I have mentioned, do
Okay,
you
that makes
stand by
sense.
your policy of tying the hands of Illinois law enforcement? Yes or no, sir?
You know, Congresswoman Miller, I am
Yes or
not
no,
going
sir?
to be lectured to by somebody
I'm
who extols
reclaiming
the
my
virtue
time.
of
I'm reclaiming
Adolf
my time,
Hitler,
Chairman.
of somebody
In
who has allowed the
2024,
pardoning of January 6th.
I'm reclaiming my time. In 2024, after the presidential election, you stated on MSNBC that, and I quote, I am going to do everything that I can
What
to
up,
protect
Cindy?
our undocumented immigrants, end quote. Mr. Chairman, I ask
We're all
unanimous
too
consent
old
to
for
submit
this
a
shit.
Fox News report into the record titled, Dem Governor J.B. Pritzker vows to do everything I can to protect our undocumented immigrants.
Congresswoman, I was
These
talking about
policies
the people
are
who have
not
lived in our
only
state for
deadly.
decades
These
now.
policies are not only deadly, but they have cost Illinois taxpayers billions to the tune of $3 billion since 2022. Governor, your state budget doesn't balance without massive yearly tax increases. This year, you hiked taxes by $800 million. Your budgets fund the services of illegal
That's inaccurate,
aliens, while
Congresswoman.
Americans
Again,
are left behind.
inaccurate.
With many
Nearly everything
choosing
is
to flee our
mischaracterized
state.
in your statement.
Governor, I judge you based on your actions, not on your words. And from what I can tell, you are doing everything in your power to roll out the red carpet for illegal aliens to protect them, all at the expense of working people of Illinois. Your policies have been disastrous for our state, and they would be disastrous for our country. And with that, I yield back.
Your failures are a disaster.
Nah. I feel that was all attack dog shit, and she just kind of went defensive and just started lashing. Yeah.
For this
Yields
country.
back. Gentlelady yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Superman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I
Hold
first
up.
want to say that what happened this afternoon, this afternoon's manhandling of Senator Alex Padilla after he sought to speak at a public press conference was wrong and should be condemned by both parties, by every member in this chamber. But it follows a pattern in this administration of weaponizing law enforcement and using excessive force to attack peaceful protests and political opponents. And it's terrible. I mean, you know, we're talking about what's going on in sanctuary states, quote unquote. But you know, I live in Virginia, and we're not a sanctuary state. But what is happening is that our sheriff's office has made a decision to participate in the 287G program, and basically working with ICE to show up in schools, show up in businesses, and try to.
What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is Skip Supermanium. I know this is Skip. My name is Skip. Okay. We done. Who's next? There ain't no way you gonna bless me with this shit. Oh, you know the fucked up thing, ladies and gentlemen? I actually used my overroll already. Or I'd use it right here. Just because I know. I love the fact that Comer does this every fucking time. Do we skip Ms. Fishback?
On today, Mr. Chair, and I will just say that oversight is far livelier than Ways and Means. But, you know, and Governor Walz, I want to say I thank you for being here because I know you've been very, very busy running around the country, giving speeches and having town halls in Republican
balanced
districts. Yeah, well, you were running around, though, I know, while they were trying to negotiate that.
I'm a
So
multitasker.
my time, Mr. Governor Walz, it's my time. But there has been a lot of discussion and questions about policies that provide benefits for illegal aliens. And I understand, Governor, that you're going to say Minnesota is not a sanctuary state per se because the legislation was not passed. And just a yes or no question. Ranking Member Lynch had mentioned that there was a bill that was introduced for a sanctuary state this year in the Minnesota legislature. Would you have signed that bill? Did you support that bill?
Oh, thousands of bills introduced, hypothetical. We don't have it. I operate under the same law you operated under.
Okay. Thank you, Governor Walz.
Under Lieutenant Governor.
But Governor Walz, we all know that you probably had some opinion on that bill. You're just choosing not to answer because the answer was probably yes, you would have signed that.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do it. I didn't realize it was this late, but we finishing this off. If you want to stay, you can stay. But Rumble, go talk to our Canadian friends. Cancel if you want to stay. Go over if you want to. Have a good night, Rumble. Finalizing. Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
That bill if it had passed. So, but like Mr. Emmer, Mr. Crane, I think Mr. McGuire, a whole bunch of them mentioned.
Oh, by the way, we skipping Fishback. Mr. Lawler. I thought that's who that was. Gotta finish it. Because we got Lawler left. This crazed lunatic, I forget his name. Kennedy. No. Whatever the fuck her name is. I'm not really feeling any more hitters. You know what? Fuck it. Let us vote.
We provide health care to people in need, including moms with new babies.
Do you support giving illegal immigrants taxpayer-funded health care? Yes or no?
We support giving
I gotta
money.
be fair.
Support
The
for
answer
health
is
care.
yes. You expanded.
I gotta be fair. Let's give him his time.
Spent billions of dollars of taxpayer money providing free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care to illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, you're charging hardworking New Yorkers $2,500 annually just for the privilege of driving to work. Speaking of driving, when you ran for Congress, did you oppose giving driver's licenses to illegals? Yes or no?
No, that was previous to that. It was in 2020.
You had a commercial running for Congress touting your position.
No, but the position
about
goes back earlier than that.
driver's license.
My point.
Did you oppose giving driver's licenses to illegals when you were running for Congress? Yes or no?
At the time I did, and I'll tell you
Governor,
why.
yes or no?
I had a
Yes or
chance to go out and see a very rural district
Reclaiming my
where
time.
mothers were being denied the chance
Governor,
to drive
yes
their
or no?
kids
Do
to
you
the
support
doctor's
illegal
office.
immigrants getting
People were being denied the
taxpayer-funded
chance to
health
go to their
care?
jobs, and I understood the
Governor,
merit
please
of
answer the
having it.
question.
Governor.
I'm not sure there'll ever be a real question.
You know, because black people are too stupid to know where the DMV is, so they can't get IDs. So showing ID to vote is racist. Y'all remember that shit? That's what that was about. Let's see how the vote turns. No. So we continue.
You were asked a question and you chose to try to
gave an
deflect.
answer.
The fact is you did support giving illegals driver's
was
licenses, oppose giving illegals driver's licenses. Now you support it.
Mm-hmm.
Governor, yes or no? Do you support illegal immigrants getting taxpayer-funded health care? Yes or no?
We provide health care to people in need, including moms with new babies.
Do you support giving illegal immigrants taxpayer-funded health care? Yes or no?
We support giving money, support
The
for
answer
health
is
care
yes. You expanded health care access in
Yes, I
2024
did.
under Medicaid.
for senior citizens.
Governor,
and
after the
moms with
election,
new
you
babies.
said,
I would do it all
reclaiming
over
my
again.
time. Governor, after the election, you said, someone breaks the law, I'll be the first one to call up ICE and say, get them out of here. Governor, yes or no, have you personally called up ICE and asked them to get anyone out of New York?
As the governor of New York, I have an entire state police force
Have
that
you personally
carries on
called
my
anybody up
directions.
and asked ICE to get anyone out of New York? Yes or no?
My state police acts as my agency and
You
my
have
surrogate.
not, correct?
When I say me, I'm referring to my entities such as the state police that
You're
handle
like
that.
Governor Cuomo. I am the government.
That's your
position?
characterization, not mine.
Yes or no? Should ICE have been called on Sebastian Zapata Cali?
Can you refresh me as to the circumstances of the case?
He's the individual who burned the woman alive on the train.
Of course.
Should
they
ICE have been called on him?
NYPD was handling that situation.
Should ICE have been called? That's my question. Yes or no?
If there was an arrest made, he should have been deported after conviction, yes.
Okay. So, Governor, when you were sworn in 2021, you signed an executive order keeping many of Governor Cuomo's executive orders in place, including EO 170. Interestingly enough, you did not include EO 170.1. Are you familiar with EO 170.1?
I don't have it in front of me. I have thousands of executive orders.
I have it right here, Governor.
Sure you do.
And what you did, you waited several years until this year, January 16th of this year, in which you finally signed it and reinstated it into law. Why did you wait until just 4 days before Donald Trump was sworn in as president to sign EO 170.1 into law? And to refresh your memory, it basically mandates that federal immigration authorities cannot enforce civil arrests in New York State buildings. Why did you wait several years to reinstate that?
Because we had a high level of confidence that under the previous administration that people going into the courthouses, whether they're victims of crimes, witnesses of crimes, would have their rights protected. I had no
In
assurance
other words,
that that would
you
happen.
believe they would not enforce federal immigration law, and you were concerned that President Trump and his administration would enforce federal immigration law?
We thought it was important for victims of crimes and witnesses to murders, for example, that they have access to courts without being threatened or intimidated.
Yeah. Speaking of crime, more than 3,200 illegal immigrants have been arrested in New York City for committing crimes while living in taxpayer-funded housing under your watch, Governor. Governor, are you aware of any law or executive order that would prevent a citizen of New York, a citizen of the United States, from facing criminal or civil enforcement in a state building?
I'm not aware.
So you think that citizens should be treated less than and have less protections than illegal immigrants?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
Our state laws say we cooperate in all criminal cases. I've made that very clear over the last
Yeah, but you're not doing that.
7
That's the
hours.
reality. Governor, do you
Truth is,
support,
we
do you
don't
support
help
the New
them with
York
civil
for All
enforcement
Act?
because civil
Governor,
enforcement
reclaiming my
isn't-
time. Do you
Go for it.
support the New York for All Act?
I'm not speaking about hypothetical
No,
bills.
Governor, this isn't a hypothetical. There was a sit-in in the state legislature today by activists blocking state senators from coming into the chamber. Do you support the New York for All Act? It's yes or no.
I will tell you this, I get about 1,000 bills put on
Do
my
you
desk
support
probably by
the New York
midnight
for All
tonight,
Act?
which is, this is keeping me from doing the work of the people back home. But I can
Governor,
sit here
you've
as
done a
long as you
terrible
like.
job as governor. It's not keeping you from anything. Frankly, New York is better off with you down here and not in the state. The
I don't think we're better off with you
The
here.
fact is, Governor, you will support the New York for All Act. You will sign.
Tony, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs here. We got Don McGrody coming in, Arsenal fan. Don Najitas. Not just Anna 1776 and Mary Paquette. Welcome. Y'all are going to enjoy this shit. We're riot watching tomorrow. It's not going to be members only. It's going to be public. But we sitting down with the Lux here. We're going to bullshit. And we're just going to watch the bullshit happen.
Signed it into law if it passes the
I have no
state
confidence it's
legislature.
going to pass.
You have no confidence it will pass. If it does pass, will you sign it?
I'm not able to keep an eye on it. They're voting on
Will you
resolutions
sign it
now.
into law if it passes?
I have about 1,000 bills that get
Will
passed
you
every
sign the
year.
New York for All Act into law if it
You
passes?
have to wait
Yes or
and
no?
see, like every other bill.
We have to wait and see?
Yes,
Governor,
because
you
I've-
can't take a position on the New York for All Act. It would put into state statute that New York is a sanctuary state. That's why you're here. That is the exact reason why you're sitting in front of us testifying, because of your disastrous EOs, your disastrous pro-criminal policies that have resulted in the death of New Yorkers. That is your failure. And the fact is that you can't even answer the question.
No, the
Will
reason
you
I'm
support
sitting
the
here
New
is
York
because
for All?
Republicans are looking
Yes or no?
to deflect from the big, bad, ugly bill that's going to hurt people.
Governor, gentleman's time's expired. Governor, are you going to answer his question when you sign the
I
bill?
don't know what he's asking me.
He asked if you were going to sign the
I
bill.
don't ask anybody in the state of New York. I never say how I'm going to vote on decide on a bill until it lands on my desk.
You are the governor of the state. You are supposed
I'm
to
well
lead.
aware.
You
well
are
aware. I'm the governor.
Gentleman's time's expired.
It's shameful. It's shameful. You can't even answer the question?
When it lands on my desk, I'll do the proper evaluation.
Chair recognizes.
That's what we do.
What?
That's how
You'll
you
sign
become a
it into
governor.
law.
You'll
That's
never know.
exactly what you'll do.
Chair recognizes ranking member.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have a number of unanimous consent requests, one from the National Immigration Center.
Without objection to order.
National Immigrant Justice Center and the Alliance for Immigrants.
Without objection to order.
They speak for themselves.
Chair recognizes Mr. Stauber from Minnesota.
You know what? Starber. Who's this bitch? What?
Sanctuary cities. We are all
What the fuck is this? Penny? Hood? And it ends. You know what? Fuck it. I'm overriding. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a lot of fun tonight. I hope you have too. We coming back riot watching tomorrow. We're going to have Deluxe sitting down. We're just going to bullshit, have fun, and watch the world burn. Because immigrants need to have control of your country. Because who's going to pick your crops? Who's going to scrub your toilets? Who's going to wipe your ass? Sorry, Black America. You're no longer the whipping boy. You're no longer the slaves. That is the immigrant class. Y'all have a good night, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Comes a president. We can't start our own little business here.
That's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here I'm screaming. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay. I just visit, have no shame. I admit it. Looking at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.